show. Violent Vinyl Radio. Lisa Smart and Dick takes notes. I'm your stupid fucking host. Violent Vinyl Radio. Violent Vinyl Radio. Violent Vinyl Radio. Live from the VVR studios in downtown Boston, it's showtime. Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio. I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up, the podcaster holding all the aces and a cup of coffee today, Dangerous Dave.
Hello, all you SMFs.
And last but not least, the podcaster who likes the dark side of the beat, Lisa.
Hi, guys.
As always, the mission of the show is for us to introduce each other and you, the listeners, to albums and bands which you may never have heard before, while also discussing the classics. So sit back and enjoy the show. Dave, where can the listeners find this fine podcast?
We are available on most podcast outlets. Also, check us out on YouTube. Give us a listen and tell a friend. You can like, subscribe, and share, and find us on our social medias. We are on Instagram at VVR Podcast Insta, and also Facebook at Violent Vinyl Podcast.
Nice. Guys, go check out the merch store at vvr.printify, printify.me for your coffee mug and your new VVR t-shirt. Speaking of the new VVR t-shirt, Lisa was not impressed with my remedial designs that I put out. I think the quote was, they look like diarrhea in a baby's diaper. So she had a friend who is an amazing graphic artist and an amazing artist, and he made us up this over the moon fucking design that just blew the top of my head off when I saw it. I cannot wait to order this thing. It is so badass. It makes those other designs look like fucking dog shit. They're going to be crystal clear. They're going to be bright as fucking the sun. And the design, it's just go over to Facebook because they're going to be ready in about a week. Go over to Facebook, though. I dropped a little teaser. You can actually see the design over there. I want to name this little character. I want to give him a name like the Alistair Fiend, like Motley Crue's fucking mascot. And it can be the VVR mascot. So I have an idea, guys. Go over to Facebook, look at the little guy, and name him. And if we like the name you choose for this guy, we'll make him the mascot, and we will give you credit for naming him. Lisa, tell us about the design and the designer and how we did it.
Yeah, this is a really cool design. So this is someone I've known for a long time who's a great artist in all kinds of genres of media, painting, sculpture, everything. And he hand drew this image, and he used some really cool digital tools that he keeps up on the artist digital tools to make sure that when he painted it, that when it prints on, like, say, stickers or t-shirts or whatever, that the colors can come through true and not be bleeding and not be like, photo crossing and things like that. He did a really amazing job, and just a super cool image that totally fits the show, like, perfectly. A little record demon basically is what it is. Yeah, it's so cool. So if you want to check out the artist, his name is Taylor. Go over to Too Tall Global on Facebook. He has a media company where he does graphic arts and SEO for websites and graphic design and all sorts of stuff. So Too Tall Global.
Put it this way. This design is so good, I'm going to get it tattooed.
It is
No,
so
I
cool.
am. I'm going to
So
get
cool.
it tattooed. I really am. It's just that good. Like,
Yeah.
I've already put 2 years of my life into this stupid podcast. So I think I've earned a Violent Vinyl Radio podcast tattoo. And
Absolutely.
I would get this tattooed even if it meant nothing. If I just saw it like wall art, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead. Throw it on my fucking thigh. It's that good. So there you go. Shout out to Taylor. Just an amazing job. When you told me that he drew this thing by hand,
Yeah.
I could not fucking, but he should be a fucking tattoo artist.
Yeah. He's a great artist. He should be doing more with his work. He does a lot of work for friends and stuff like that too. And I keep telling him, you're a talent, man. You need to push yourself, market yourself, but he's kind of the hippie mindset. He's much more of like a giving person, just wants people to see his art and share it with everyone. So
do you think he could give me an image for Hey, did you ever see that movie?
I can ask him. Sure. I'm sure he would. Absolutely.
My wife saw this and her face turned red and she was like, fuck you guys. Quickly. So I just wanted to tell you guys a funny story. And I know I've told it on the old show probably over a year ago. So maybe some of you hadn't heard it. And it's just going to be quick. I'm going to give you like a pretty quick version. So 21 years married and, you get under each other's skin, right? You just do. So me and my wife have developed this little game we play. We call it Battle Bed, right? So we get on the bed. We do this maybe like twice a month, once a month. We get on the bed and we just fucking go at it. And there's some rules, right? There's a universal rule. Universal rule is no punching, right? You can't punch. But usually I let her get on top, she'll mount and, you can slap. I mean, you can slap hard. I've had handprints, right? You can slap, you can pinch, little fucking purple bruises. Sure, you can pinch. No twisting of my nuts. I had an issue where she went at my left nut pretty hard and damaged it. So we had to put that into the rules. Yeah. We had to put that into the rules. But there's one rule on each side that's really like the rule besides no punching, which is the universal rule. On her side, no licking my face and no licking her hand and then wiping it on my face. Because I have a fucking problem with that. I don't like people touching my face. It's just a thing, right? And on my side, so I've been practicing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for about 3 years now. I go to a school and no submission holds. That's it. Like not allowed to use a submission hold on her. Like it's got to be just street fighting. Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So we were doing this one day and I got her into a Kimura, which is a submission hold. And she said, fucking let it go right now. And I'm like, tap. She's like, I'm not fucking tapping. She'll break my arm because she's Italian. She's a hothead. She don't give a fuck. She's like, break my arm. Just do it. Break it. Give a fuck. I'm not tapping. So she's like, let it go. I wouldn't let it go. So she fucking latches on under my arm on my side, on my ribcage with her mouth. And she just bites it. And she holds it. And she goes, let it go. And I'm like, I'm not letting it go. So she fucking locked down on it hard. Lisa, I'm going to send you the picture right now. Do you have your phone handy? Okay?
I do. Yeah.
So this is the bite.
Let's see. Oh, there it is. Oh my God, it looks like a shark bite.
Yeah, you can actually see a little blood on it.
You can. Wow, there's some power in that.
Oh yeah, she was pissed.
That's every single tooth all the way back. I mean, she really had you.
Oh yeah, you could do like a Invisalign fucking with that. You could send that in and they could make you the mouthpiece. So
bring that to the dentist and you're all set.
My karate
You need to get that tattooed on you.
Well, the scar's still there, so I probably could. So my BJJ instructor, I'm friendly with him outside of class and his wife. Sometimes we'll go out, me and my wife, with him and his wife. So I thought it was funny. I thought I'd just shoot this over to him, be like, this is Battle Bed when it goes too far. And I sent it off, and I immediately get a text message back. And it says, is everything okay? And I read it. It's from my dentist. It's from fucking Smile Avenue. I accidentally sent it to my dentist. Is everything okay? I tell my wife, I sent the picture to my dentist. She's like, you fucking asshole. You fucking sent that to our dentist. And the only reason I tell the story to you is I was in the dentist's office like a week ago and I went in there and I hear them laughing, the two secretaries and the dentist. And, she comes out, she goes, all right, you can come back now. And she goes, we were all just laughing about that time you sent us the assault. So there you go. If you heard the story before, I apologize, but I just thought it was worth a retell and having Lisa's live reaction to the actual photo. I should put that on the Facebook page so our listeners can see the bite.
That is. I've never seen a bite quite like that.
Yeah, my wife's fucking animal, man. She's a beast. Seriously. I had to start taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu just to defend myself. Okay. Let's head over to the mailbag. I got several messages from you guys congratulating us on our 1-year anniversary as VVR. So I'm not going to get into the individual thank yous. I'm just going to lump you in as a group and say, thanks, guys. We really appreciate all of you. Without you and your support and you listening, it wouldn't be worth doing the show. So we appreciate every single email we get from you guys. any feedback we get from you guys, and you guys just showing up and listening to the show. Lisa, I noticed that Radio had left us a very long, in-depth message about the Skid Row review, and I think he was targeting you specifically. So
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go ahead and read this email. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is from Radio, and Radio says, album starts great, and then it takes a nosedive. And this is about, let's just be clear, Skid Row's Slave to the Grind, which was
Yes.
our last episode. It has, back to the quote, it has its moments thanks to a couple of well-written ballads and a magnificent vocal performance by one of the best hard rock vocalists ever. Favorite track, Monkey Business. Least favorite, Mud Kicker. And as front runners, Riot Act, Creep Show, LOACG, or Beggar's Day. Interesting that he said Beggar's Day, by the way, because I think I brought that up and you guys thought it was kind of mediocre because it wasn't actually on the first original album.
Yeah, it was on the Japanese.
So I'm actually
the
glad
clean version
to see that because that I did say that is a really good song.
So I didn't love it.
Yeah,
it was okay.
Back to his quote, just like John Bon Jovi, Sabo can bring a decent rhythm guitar player like Stevie Pierce or even the great Mick Mars. I would keep him as an outside songwriter, though.
He says he would can Sabo.
Yeah. He would
like
can Sabo.
Fire him.
Did I say that wrong? Yeah, he would can Sabo.
Him.
Yep.
He started the band.
Yeah, it was his band.
With Rachel.
Right.
He also said he might bring in Mick Mars.
Yeah.
Not in Skid Row.
I mean, those are interesting picks, though. I don't think Mick Mars is that bad of a pick. I think that could have worked.
I like Stevie Pierce for Skid Row more than Mick Mars for Skid Row. I love Mick Mars, great rhythm guitar player, but not for Skid Row. Not for Skid Row.
So there's a bit of conflict of interest here. So that's a question. Yes, there is. You can't be partial to an opinion when you have a business relationship going on. Ditching and replacing Bach, which made this band, with an American Idol winner is just wrong. You'd rather keep 4 average at best musicians and you kick out Sebastian, which is a Hall of Famer and in the pantheon of rock. Please. Album pushes 4.12 watts. Take out Bach and replace him with any generic vocalist from the era, and this album doesn't even see the light of day.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more with all of that.
So
I don't agree so much.
Well, everybody has an opinion.
Sure.
Fair enough. Yes, I have a business relationship with them. Yes, they are friends to me. But I want you to think back. I was a fan too at one point. There was a point I didn't know them. They were still my favorite band then. And the reason that I know them is I pushed myself into their world, right? Because I thought they were so great. I needed to know them. And that's what I do. If I find something that I really like, I get my way in there because why would you not want to be connected to that, right? I don't know. It is my opinion though. So.
Well, like Ben Brooks said, everybody has an opinion. They're like
everybody
assholes.
has an opinion.
I want to just break down this last paragraph, though. Okay, so ditching and replacing Bach with an American Idol winner is just wrong. Can we all agree on that?
Have you heard Eric sing?
But I mean, this is not a slight against Eric. This is not a slight against Eric. Eric and any other band, I'm sure, is the greatest thing ever. I'm just saying, Sebastian Bach.
I think that a lot of people remember Sebastian Bach because remember back in the day, you heard them on the radio or you heard them on your tape. You didn't necessarily hear them every night in a concert hall, right? I challenge anyone, and I've done this with some really diehard Sebastian fans, to go back to the 80s and listen to some of these recordings, some of these live shows. And you tell me if him live is the same singer as he is in the studio. He is absolutely not.
But there's more to this than that. Like, so imagine the video Wasted Time with Eric in the video in those gold pants instead of Sebastian. Is that video as big as it is? Is this album as big as? No, because it's more than just a voice. Sebastian Bach is a fucking god at this moment in time when this album was released. He is metal at this time. And without him, I agree. This album never sees the light of day, and it is 4.12 watts. It's not that with Sebastian. I think he's wrong. That's where he goes off the fucking rails here and hits a tree. But I agree with everything except his watt score. I think without Sebastian Bach, this album is dog shit. And I'm not ripping on Eric at all. But like you said, this guy's voice is fucking 10 times better than Sebastian Bach. 10 times better now, and probably always live. The guy has way more control, way better at his craft, everything. I get what you're saying, but he's not Sebastian Bach in 1991.
Well, to be fair, I gave the album 100 watts. Right?
You did.
I said that this was the best rock vocal ever recorded in history and still is to this day. And I absolutely believe that. But watch him live, not great.
Not great.
Know him as a person, really not great. So,
right. But he looked amazing in those gold pants.
He did. Yeah.
Okay.
And on every magazine cover and everywhere you saw him, and he had a big personality, and that's why he was a great frontman. I just never said he wasn't.
Yeah. He was the fishing lure. He was the shiny lure that got Skid Row where they are. Without him, they're fucking nothing. I thought it would be fun to just talk about that. I thought it might spark a little heat right in the beginning. Okay. Lisa, did you have any thing you wanted to discuss email-wise?
So most of the messages that I got this week were really about the anniversary. Honestly, a lot more people hearing that it was our anniversary, and hearing from a lot of people I hadn't heard from in 40 years, as a matter of fact. So so that was pretty crazy. I didn't get too much on the last podcast. I think that my opinion on this last the album Slave to the Grind was not agreed by everyone. I think they all agreed with you guys that the first album was better. And I'm in the extreme minority here. So, yeah.
Okay. Dave, I know you got one email.
Did I?
You did. Fucking somebody wrote in and gave you kudos for fucking fighting through the nap last week. They were like, good for Dave. He's a fucking beast. Anybody else would have thrown in the towel. And I respect him for fucking pushing through and finishing that podcast. So so your heart was not lost on the listeners. They really appreciated you making it to the end of that.
Well, it's good to know. I'm back today and fully caffeinated with my Diet Dew and ready to go.
We are recording in the afternoon today, 12:30, where we normally do, which definitely makes things easier. I think we were all getting a little punchy by the end of that last one.
Especially since we did it twice.
6 hours. 6 hours. But honestly, I went back and listened to it. Dave, I thought it was great. I fucking, as soon as you fell asleep during the fucking Aussie thing and then I was laughing my fucking dick off at work listening to that. I thought it was fucking great. So, I mean, I don't want to do it every week, but it was good.
No worries.
Okay. I want to stay on track here. I'm not going to make any mistakes today. So next we're going to do, I'm not sure.
Already?
Well, no. Okay. So,
why don't you introduce the album?
Intro paragraph.
Yeah, why don't you introduce what we're talking about today?
Okay, you know what it is? I've got the protocol is different on my notes, which are on my phone, than it is in the script. I'm going to eventually change this because this isn't funny anymore. Tonight we will be discussing Stay Hungry, the third studio album by Twisted Sister, produced by Tom Werman, released on May 10th of 1984 on Atlantic Records. The album peaked at the number 15 spot on the US Billboard 200. The band's lineup was as follows: Dee Snider, lead vocals; Eddie Fingers Ojeda, lead guitar and backing vocals. I think we need to take the fingers out of that, okay? JJ French, rhythm, lead guitar; Mark the Animal Mendoza, bass and backing vocals; and AJ Perro. I'm just going to front load this a little bit. So Mark the Animal Mendoza, I did not remember this guy being a fucking bass god that he is. This guy's kicking ass on this album. Twisted Sister, they don't have a lead guitar player. They have two fucking basically shitty rhythm guitar players. Like, it's fucking dude. I honestly feel like me and my next door neighbor when I was 15 could have pulled this album off and made it sound better. These guys cannot fucking play guitar. They suck. Okay.
Dave's getting angry already.
No.
We might lose him halfway through this time.
No.
It's bad news. Let's head over to some band facts. Dave, what do you got on this band?
Oh, I got a bunch of facts.
All right.
Twisted Sister was formed in 1972 in Hohokus, New Jersey.
Ooh.
Say that 10 times
Now,
fast.
is it
Right.
really spelled like that, or is it actually just ho-hocus? Is it really ho-hocus?
No, it's not.
Ho-hocus, right?
It doesn't have dashes
Right.
like it's
But the
Santa.
band puts it that way.
So it's like Santa Claus,
Yeah.
ho ho ho.
Yeah.
I think that was just Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Because like when you're driving up the turnpike or the parkway, I forget which one, up in North Jersey, and it just ho-hocus.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So you're telling me these guys were buying their cassette tapes at Vintage Vinyl Records? in
Yes,
New
they
Jersey?
And was that clothing store that they shopped at in Atlantic City?
Oh, that was down the shore in Brick, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
It was called Wildside.
Wildside.
On Route 88.
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very original name.
I bet you Skid Row shop there.
Yep, definitely.
That was right in their town. Anyway, so yeah, Twisted Sister was formed in 1972 in Hohokus, New Jersey, later based on Long Island, New York. Their classic lineup was solidified by 1982. It was this lineup which recorded the band's first 4 albums. Twisted Sister was ranked at number 73 on VH1's list of 100 greatest artists of hard rock. The band split up in 1988, but had several reunions and projects in between, retiring in 2016. However, as recently as 2024, singer Dee Snider commented, as a result of all the bands retiring and dying, the offers get bigger and bigger for the holdouts to come back. We retired in 2016, I think it was, with no intention of coming back. At some point, you've got to say, well, how can I say no to that? Is it there yet? No. Is it getting close? Yeah. So, maybe we'll see more from Twisted in the future.
We were kind of talking about that last time when it's surprising to see some of these bands come back, but eventually the money offer is just too much.
Oh, yeah. Too much to turn down.
Really? They offer these guys a stick of fucking chewy gum? Who the fuck wants to see this? I don't.
When Twisted started out, they were influenced by the glam rock of the time, including David Bowie, Slade, Mott the Hoople, Rolling Stones, and the New York Dolls. Later, they incorporated more heavy metal influences, including Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, and Alice Cooper. They became a huge club band in the New York, New Jersey area, even selling out the 3,000 capacity New York Palladium without a recording contract or radio airplay. Reportedly, Snider rejected the glam metal label of the band, saying, I don't think Twisted Sister is glam because that implies glamour, and we're not glamorous. We should be called hid because we're hideous.
I love that.
That's a pretty good quote.
I also agree that they weren't glam.
But they weren't hideous either. Like Blackie
No, they
Lawless and
weren't.
Wasp were hideous. These guys look just like shit.
They just look like regular guys
They-
that
what?
you would see anywhere. Yeah.
Have you seen the videos? We're not going
Yeah.
to take it.
Yeah.
They look like regular guys you'd see
Look like
anywhere.
regular guys you'd see in a crowd at a show somewhere.
They look like a football team dressed in fucking lingerie. They were
No,
terrible.
I mean, take the costumes off them. They just look like regular guys. They're not like the super handsome guys like we were just talking about Sebastian Bach. They were just regular guys.
Yeah, I mean, if they had stuck to that look they had during Stay Hungry, what is it? See no evil, don't you?
Burn in
that
hell.
video, like they looked all right in that video. Dee's got some denim on. He's got some stiletto leather shoes. They look normal. Like every other thing I've seen, just fuck, so bad, so bad. Sorry, go.
It's fine. You remember it though.
Oh, I do remember it.
Yeah, and shout out to Mark the Animal Mendoza. He joined Twisted Sister in 1978, coming over from legendary New York City band The Dictators, one of my favorites. According to Wikipedia, the band started its own t-shirt company and record label. They caught the attention of indie label Secret Records, a small British label that was mainly a punk outlet. their buzz began to grow with sufficient name recognition to open for such metal acts as Motorhead. Soon they were picked up by Atlantic Records to make their second album, which got them a UK number 18 hit for I Am, I'm Me. And on their tour for the Stay Hungry album, a young Metallica was their opening act. That's a hard act to follow.
Yeah.
Stay Hungry sold more than 2 million copies by the summer of 1985 and went on to sell more than 3 million by 1995. It remains the band's biggest success and only platinum album. The group was singled out by the PMRC in 1985. Their songs Under the Blade and We're Not Gonna Take It were specifically mentioned in the associated Senate hearings. Snyder, along with John Denver and Frank Zappa, there's a party right there, testified before a Senate committee during these hearings on September 19th, 1985. Parents Music Resource Center was a conservative United States government committee formed in 1985 with the stated goal of increasing parental control over children's access to music deemed to have violent, drug-related, or sexual themes. The committee's work led to the widespread adoption of the parental advisory sticker that we all know and love.
And don't read anyway.
We don't care.
I have a lot more to say about that.
Dave, I can't believe these are the two songs that were marked. Like, there's a song in this album that I think should have been in the conversation, but we'll get there.
Another reason why the PMRC were completely ineffective and ridiculous.
And so clueless, because these songs, these two songs are just nothing fucking that needs to be, they're fine. There's nothing dangerous and we're not going to take it.
Oh, they didn't want any pushback on their authoritarian, dictatorship.
Yeah, we're getting to that.
Okay.
So speaking of the PMRC, here is their Filthy 15 list. So all you kids out here, here's an 80s starter kit. Go check out all these songs and all these bands because they are awesome.
Yep.
Number 1, Prince, Darling Nikki.
Awesome.
Number 2, Sheena Easton, Sugar Walls.
So
Number
crazy.
3, Judas Priest, Eat Me Alive.
Yeah.
Number 4, Vanity, Strap On Robbie Baby.
I love
Sounds fun. Number 5, Motley Crue, Bastard.
Yes.
Number 6, AC/DC, Let Me Put My Love Into You.
You.
I wonder what that's about. Number 7, Twisted Sister, We're Not Gonna Take It. Number 8, Madonna, Dress You Up. Number 9, Wasp, Animal, Fuck Like a Beast.
There it is. That should be number 1.
Yeah, are these in any kind of order?
No way.
We should reorder these to be.
We definitely should.
Number 10, Def Leppard, High and Dry. Number 11, The Awesome Merciful Fate.
Merciful
with
Fate.
King
Merciful
Diamond,
Fate.
Into the Coven. Number 12, Black Sabbath, Trashed. Number 13, Mary Jane Girls, In My House. Love that song.
It's dark.
Number 14, Venom, Possessed.
Yes, Venom, one of my favorites.
And finally, number 15, Cyndi Lauper with She-Bop.
Okay, stop. Just
Is that
stop.
the craziest list you've
stop.
ever heard?
Fucking She-Bop. Like, what are we all just going to listen to church music? Like, this is okay.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Well, that's not fun.
So in March 2004, the band entered the studio to completely re-record this Stay Hungry album for Demolition Records. The band members reported they were not happy with the original album's production, so this time they produced it themselves. The re-recording was released under the name Still Hungry and contains 7 bonus tracks. In 2009, the band played Stay Hungry album in its entirety for the first time, including songs never played live before, such as Don't Let Me Down and Horror-Teria, Street Justice. Number 8, a 25th anniversary edition of this album was released on June 30th, 2009 by Rhino Records. The first disc contains remastered versions of the 9 tracks from the May 84 original. The bonus disc uncovers 15 unreleased outtakes and early demos from the original sessions recorded in 1983, as well as the new track recorded especially for this collection by the 1984 lineup. Additionally, any music fan who bought the CD or vinyl of the 25th anniversary edition in any participating independent record store received a free gift from the band, a DVD of the Twisted Sister 1984 Uncut Live at San Bernardino concert. Originally broadcast on MTV, the concert had been commercially unavailable for years. June 30th, 2009 was the only day this DVD was available, and only through participating independent record stores with limited stock, commented guitarist JJ French. While other bands have made exclusive deals with big box chains and discounters, Twisted Sister remembers all the independent record shops who have supported us through the years. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Vintage Vinyl Records, New Jersey.
Yeah, it was probably there back in 2009.
Definitely was there.
In 2014, a documentary on the band entitled We Are Twisted Fucking Sister was made, directed by Andrew Horn. It is really good. I've watched it. If you're a Twisted fan or just a rock fan in general, it's a great watch. Available on Prime Video, or if you don't want to give Amazon your money, it's also free now on the Roku channel, Plex, and Tubi.
Awesome.
One last bonus fun fact. In 2004, a company called Magrack with a website called Guitar Letter Express. The company dissolved in 2017. They put on a national guitar face contest where guitarist JJ French was one of the judges. And guess what?
What?
I was a top 10 finalist.
Guess what? You're 100 times better a guitar player than he was at that moment
Thank
in
you.
time.
I sent in a glammed up onstage photo from a few years before, and I don't have the clipping or anything, but I remember he said something like, with that much makeup, this guy definitely knows how to shred. So I appreciated that. I did not win the top prize guitar, but I did get a little article written about me in the local newspaper.
That's awesome, Dave.
And
How
he still does guitar face to this day. So.
Oh yeah, every
Dave,
day.
Do you have that clipping like in a photo album, like under the lamination?
I've got it somewhere. Yeah,
I've seen
you
it.
do.
So
I know you do.
Yeah.
How dare JJ French be a judge in a guitar concert? How would he even know what he was listening to? Literally, how would he even know what he was listening to?
Well, I don't think he didn't hear you play guitar.
No,
right?
he knows how to guitar faces.
It was just a picture of Dave
Oh.
making a face, like when you play guitar and you hit that high note and you make a guitar face.
Yeah,
It was like that.
You know how to do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it.
No, that was me taking a shit, actually.
Same face.
Same
Oh,
face.
me too.
Dave, are you done?
That is all my facts.
Okay, I'm gonna break in here. So addressing the elephant in the room, the new theme song that you all just heard that I forgot to even mention. So I didn't really have a lot to do this weekend, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking write a new theme song because I do shit like that, right? So I wrote up this new little theme song. I programmed the drums. I played the bass. Dave, that was a pretty good bass, right?
Yeah, it sounded good.
Thank you. Played the bass. I played the rhythm guitars. I used a Les Paul on one side, and I broke out my 1984 BC Rich bitch to play with the active EMG pickup and the Kaler Flyer to play the rhythm guitar on the other side. So that was fun. I have this big coffin case that says BC Rich, and it's all velour red inside. It says BC Rich on like 100 times. So yeah, it was fun to pull that out. I blew the dust off it and used it. And of course, Dave ripped the solo track or the lead track. I mean, it's a punk song, as you heard, so not really a solo, but he played the lead track over it and fucking buttered the biscuit, if you will.
Nice.
So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And Lisa played some Phantom, some Phantom synth on it. So I wanted to ask you guys this because things like this go through my mind. Have you guys noticed that time is speeding up? Like literally
absolutely.
over the last like maybe 3 years.
It's because we're in a simulation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no, and I'm not just saying this like a joke. Like I literally noticed
Yeah.
this, asked my wife, because it seems now like months are going by, like weeks
Mhm.
used to go by. Literally, I'll be like, oh my God, it's first of the month again.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
we got a new cat. It's been 2 years now. I couldn't
It's
believe
not
it.
new anymore because
But
time's
I-
going so fast.
But Delynn said we've had Mr. Jinx. His name is Mr. Jinx. We've had Mr. Jinx for 2 years. I was like, get the fuck out of here. It's been like 6 months. She's
Mhm.
like, it's been 2 years. There's no fucking way that cat has been living in this house for 2 years. There's
Yep.
no fucking way. So I looked into it. I looked into this because it really started fucking with my head. So one of the things they say is this is something that older people experience. People over like 50, right? Makes sense. You know, if you're 1 year old, 1 year is 100% of your life. So it's going to seem like it goes by very long. 2 years old, 50% of your life, still going to go by very long. As you get older, the year becomes a much smaller fraction of your life. So obviously it's going to feel like it's sped up. But I'm going to rebut this. So I went on YouTube to do more research, and this is a very popular topic on YouTube. And surprisingly, people in their 20s are the ones bringing this up, how they're
Right.
saying since like COVID, like their lives are literally going by in the blink of an eye. Time is going by faster. Unfortunately, this phenomenon never comes in when I'm at work. But no, I've noticed this. So you guys have noticed this as well?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And there's some neurobiology research on this saying that our interaction with screens and basically the need to not learn anymore,
Lack of attention,
and the need to
something
not
like
like learn things and retain memory is actually changing our brain structure, and our brains are actually unable to retain memory in the way that they used to because of our interaction with screen time and, you know, fast information and maybe even unnecessary information. So I mean, and I was thinking about this the other day, like how many people, you know, young people will sit in their room all day long and practice an instrument and memorize it and do that. How many do that now? Like very
None.
few.
not a lot.
Yeah, very few.
No.
Like the idea of needing to know something and retain it in your brain is gone. And that makes time, like the experience of time faster because you aren't laying the memory of the time behind you. So.
No, that's such a great, this is why I brought it up. That's such a great insight on this because think about that. Like when does time go by the most? When you're scrolling on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
when you're fucking, you know, looking at fucking
Empty
watching YouTube
activity.
videos.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were younger, we were doing more, you know, going out, doing things.
Mhm.
Like you said, spending time playing guitar, spending time talking to people, spending time living your life. And I think that the phenomena happened around COVID
Mhm.
because that's when we all got locked in and really started like just immersing ourselves in the internet, like to the point now where we're all just saturated. Our brains are saturated.
Yep. And your brain can't lay the memory of the past anymore. So you're experiencing it, but you're forgetting that you did.
Okay. Do you see what I just did here?
Yeah.
See what I just did? I just took Violent Vinyl Radio After Dark. I wanted to take it for a test drive during this episode.
There it is.
So there it is, guys. That's Violent Vinyl Radio After Dark. Now, if this was like a normal week, the next topic would be Matthew Trippy. Did Motley Crue replace Nikki Sixx for a short time with Matthew Trippy? That would be that. So this would be like a conspiracy episode of Violent Vinyl Radio After Dark. So that's basically what it is. I just wanted to give you guys a taste of it. See if it's something you would want to hear. Whether you do or you don't, we're probably going to do it anyway. So
And you caught me completely off guard. See, and that's a subject I am obsessed with between neurobiology, which was my major for a while when I was studying to be a brain surgeon, and all of those conspiracy theories and simulation and all of that. So I'm in.
I am also a junkie for these things, so I
Yeah.
can kind of see the direction this show might go. And Dave's like, but what about music? Okay, Lisa, what do you got for facts on Twisted Sister?
Okay, so let's step back to 1984. We've done 1984 before, but it's actually been a while. We've spent a lot of time in the 90s recently. So let's go way back. MTV was in its infancy. Radio was still king. Metal was just starting to get recognition as a genre, like as far as like radio executives and Billboard and the public. We had Michael Jackson's Thriller ruling the charts and the video slots, to be fair. And two big soundtracks in that year, Footloose and Purple Rain, taking the #1 slots for big chunks of the year. We had Cyndi Lauper, Duran Duran, Culture Club, Madonna, Hot All Year, as well as Nena with her 99 Luftballons, which was one of the first non-English songs to become huge here, although we did get an English version of it, but I thought that was interesting.
Great song.
Yeah, great song.
Great video.
I heard that she didn't actually speak English, and they just had to like feed her the syllables to make that work.
Yeah,
but both versions are good.
Yeah.
For
rock, glam was in its infancy. Now I say that tongue in cheek a little bit because obviously we had glam in the 70s, but like what we know as glam today was kind of being born. Glam. Yeah. We had Van Halen's 1984 album, Bon Jovi's debut album, Whitesnake's Slide It In. We also had Metallica's Ride the Lightning that year, so it was a pretty good year for music. Yeah. Video was changing the landscape of music, like looks and attitude, and the decadence of the 80s decade was becoming more important in some ways than musical ability, I would say. In the mid to late 80s, we really had some of the most innovative and important music in history, even until today. That music still influences music today. And in fact, the resurgence of all these bands from back in the day, that young people are coming to the shows and watching these old bands in a really barren landscape of new music. That's another topic for After Dark. As we can do that in the future. But that's kind of what was happening. So the reception of Twisted Sister was kind of mixed in 1984. They already had 2 albums under their belt, and their albums came out in really fast succession. I think it was 82, 83, 84. They had an album, which is really, really fast. Imagine like having to tour and record all of that in such like quick succession. They were doing tons of live shows. This is a band that was headlining club appearances and doing residencies in huge New York clubs really since the 70s, constantly touring. And they created 2 songs that are literally iconic today that everyone knows now. And back then, everyone knew their name basically overnight, right? However, it wasn't all love. Fashion critic Richard Blackwell named Twisted Sister to Mr. Blackwell's worst dressed list of 1984, ranking them number 11 and calling them a car crash in a whorehouse.
Number 11? Number 11?
Yeah, number 11. Can you imagine who number 1 was?
I was going to say, you're telling me there was 10 bands dressed worse than this?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Well, it was worst dressed list, so it also included like actors and all sorts of other people.
Yeah, Mr. Blackwell was famous for commenting on, like Oscar night fashion and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like red carpet kind of commentary.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and they got
this
kind
is
of
the worst thing I ever saw. This is the worst thing I ever saw in music ever. Man of War doesn't even touch this. Okay?
But like Dave said, you remember them. When you see a picture of Dee Snider, you know exactly who it is.
Yep.
Immediately. So that's something to be said for that.
Good. I know who Jeffrey Dahmer is too. I wouldn't want to hang out with him.
Okay. So as Dave mentioned, their music was targeted by censorship agencies, which seems laughable in, looking back with today's eye. This just goes to show you that people who are small-minded, bigoted, and full of hate, you're always on the wrong side of history. We will always look back on you and laugh at you, just like we're going to do to the people who are doing it today. Incidentally, the band's bassist, Kenneth Harrison Neal, left the band when he became a born-again Christian, and his church deemed the band too satanic. I'm sure he regrets this now, and his parish looks like a bunch of idiots. His departure, of course, brought in Mark Mendoza, which thankfully so, because he actually did quite a good job on this album, I would say.
That's right.
Yeah. The band was around since the early 70s, and as I said, had toured really steadily since 1973 and forward. But once they hit big, so like 82, 83, they had albums, but in 84, they had a very, very quick arc to their downfall, right? So from 84 to 88, they only had 4 years of what we would consider superstardom, and they were gone. I mean, that's fast. And they dissolved well before glam was done. Right. So it wasn't about like grunge pushing them out or them, needing to find a new genre. They were done.
No, they split up because they hated each other.
They hated each other. Yeah.
And nobody could relate with these guys. Dude, when I was 14, I just knew I didn't like Twisted Sister. The first time I saw the video, I'm like, nope. Nope.
So I'm surprised Dave actually missed this fact, or maybe I didn't hear you say it, but one of my favorite appearances of the band was their iconic appearance in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
I'm getting to it.
Oh, okay.
But you can talk about it.
I was just going to say they were filming the fictional Burn in Hell video, which I really wish they actually had made.
Oh,
So-
I thought that was a real video.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
Oh shit.
No.
That was just for the movie.
Yeah.
That's just how many times I've seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Okay. And they fit with that kind of creepy, like circusy Tim Burton-esque vibe really well. I'm just going to say that. So.
Oh yeah.
So let's jump into the guys. Dee Snider, I have a lot to say about him, mainly because of the PMRC stuff. So grew up on Long Island, and he is of Ukrainian descent as well as Swiss, so I found that interesting. He sang most of his life, starting in choirs and all through high school. In 1976, he joined Twisted Sister and became the band's sole songwriter, which I find interesting because I don't think we saw any band so far that we've talked about that had a single songwriter for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of unusual.
It's unusual. Yeah. He would also adopt the band's signature metal-inspired drag queen look. Before Headbangers Ball, there was a show called Heavy Metal Mania, and the first episode was hosted by Dee Snider. This show featured music, but also news and interviews and other features, and you can still go back on YouTube and see episodes of that show. It was a really good show, and I actually wish that they had continued that when they went into Headbangers Ball, which was also great. Totally different feel. You got no news and stuff like that, so yeah. Dee Snider in 1984 was arrested for obscenity after a show in Amarillo, Texas. The charges were later dropped. The 80s were a really strange time for, decadence and crazy activity. And on the other side, really extreme views on what was obscene and like almost like puritanical views on the other side. Very strange decade. Yeah. So most importantly for me, as I said, he appeared in front of Congress at the U.S. congressional hearing instigated by the PMRC, founded by Tipper Gore, husband of future Vice President Al Gore. Fuck you, Tipper Gore.
She was
not hot.
She wasn't.
Twisted, we're not going to take it, was listed in the Filthy 15, which I find laughable. Honestly, like I don't understand. There's no filth in that song. They just didn't like the authoritarian feeling of the song. Yeah. As I said, he came prepared. And he was the most well-spoken and informed person in the entire room. He testified alongside John Denver and Frank Zappa, and they all testified against censorship and the proposed warning system that was on the table for Congress to discuss.
Lisa, I disagree. I think the best guy in the room that day was Sammy Kerr when he said, "We will bring you down, man.
Yeah.
We will bring you down."
Amazing. Snider accused Tipper Gore of having a dirty mind for alleging that the lyrics of Under the Blade contained sadomasochistic undertones, when in fact the song was about a medical surgery. Snider also alleged during the Senate hearing that Tipper Gore had fabricated evidence concerning merchandise sold by the band when she stated that the t-shirts that kids wear featured Twisted Sister and Women in Handcuffs Spread Eagle, which did not exist, as well as lyrics that were literally misquoted despite being clearly printed on the liner notes of the album. He rightfully argued the case that the government did not have the right to censor art or music, and the government, being aware of the law and respecting it, unlike nowadays, agreed with him. When he walked in, there was a lot of like twittering laughter throughout the room, because when he walked in, it was like the entire 80s entered the room all at once. It was amazing.
Yes.
And they thought, oh, well, this will be easy because now we have this, just some stupid rock star.
Yeah, long-haired, drugged out, burnout guy.
Yeah. And
he is not.
Yeah, he's not. And by the time it ended, you could see the shocked looks on the faces of Congress and the anger in the faces of the representatives of the PMRC as he eloquently explained his position and blew their bigotry and ignorance out of the water.
He was prepared.
He was so prepared. He made them look like bumbling fools, presenting twisted evidence, no pun intended there, bigotry and unfounded fears against the arts and free speech, and D, fighting for the rights of artists to create and fans to do their own judgment for themselves, not the government and certainly not the PMRC. When asked about the song Under the Knife, about the surgery, he said it was about the surgery that his guitarist Ojeda had on his vocal cords, and he was very scared to go in for this surgery. Which was a target of Tipper Gore, who said it was about bondage. So he said, songs allow a person to put their own imagination, experiences, and dreams into the lyrics. People can interpret it in many ways. Miss Gore was looking for sadomasochism and bondage, and she found it. Someone looking for surgical references would have found it as well. This was one of the best moments of the hearing. Tipper's mind was the sick one in the room.
Lisa, I think that really hits me when we were talking about wasted time last week, and you know how it meant something different to all of us. And when we found out what it was actually about, we're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's art.
And that, you know, that's the point of music and art, right? I mean, these three guys, you know, Snyder, Zappa, and Denver, they saved music and art from these judgmental maniacs, and we owe them all a debt, honestly. Mm-hmm. So it's sad for me that it's happening again. Government infringing on the lives of people, controlling media, presenting lies as facts, faking evidence, faking science. And we don't have Dee Snider to fight for us this time. So we need a new Dee Snider to step up and fight for our First Amendment rights and for the Constitution in general. So hopefully that will happen. The final Twisted Sister album, Love is for Suckers, in '87, was actually intended to be Dee Snider's solo project. But he ended up turning it into the final Twisted Sister item.
I think the record company demanded it.
Did they? They didn't think he could do a solo?
Well, that's what I heard, that they, like, he had been working on it, and they were just like, yeah, this has to go out under the Twisted Sister name.
Yeah, they wanted to sell a few copies.
Yeah. So after the band kind of fell apart, he founded a band called Desperado in 1988. But their album was canceled by the label before its release. In 1990, it was bootlegged, and later it was reissued. The band included Bernie Tormé, the Irish guitarist and songwriter, a label owner, huge musical important guy.
Yeah. Filled in for Randy Rhoads.
Randy Rhoads, the original replacement for Randy Rhoads in Ozzy's band. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, as well as Clive Burr, who was Iron Maiden's drummer from 79 to 82. He actually passed in 2013 from complications of MS. This band collapsed pretty quickly, so he created a band called Widowmaker in 1991, bringing along Desperado member Mark Russell on bass, drummer Joey Franco, who had played on Twisted Sister album Love is for Suckers, so the last one, and guitarist Al Pitrelli, fresh off his stint with Alice Cooper. A lot of Alice Cooper crossovers with this band, I've noticed, by the way.
Sure.
Little Alice Cooper on the album, too. I mean, it's not Alice Cooper, but...
Yeah. They would record 2 studio albums before collapsing around the time that Dee returned to Twisted Sister. In the 90s, Snyder toured with a self-tribute band called Dee Snider's SMFs, which I think Dave alluded to in the beginning of the show. Dave, want to tell us what that stands for?
Stands for Sick Motherfuckers.
That's right.
That's so edgy.
Yeah.
And I saw that band in Club Benet in New Jersey.
Yeah. Amazing. Did you really?
Which is, yeah. I got to meet Dee that night.
That's nice.
What year would that have been?
That was in the early 90s, 1993, I believe.
Yeah, because I opened for that band at the Red Square in Saugus. And Dee Snider was a total douche.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Yeah, he's just an old guy. He's that old man energy. He just was no fun.
By 1994, Snyder had, by his own admission, lost every penny I made. I was riding a bicycle to a desk job for $200 a week, answering phones in an office. Can you imagine?
Ouch.
Yeah. In 97, he began hosting the show House of Hair, a syndicated 80s hard rock heavy metal show on more than 200 radio stations across North America. This was a pretty brave time to put out such a show, considering that glam was long dead in 97, and even metal in general had kind of fallen out of top favor at the time, so it was a little bit of a risk. Paid off very well, though. Later that year, he wrote and starred in the horror film Strangeland. I frickin' love this movie. And you guys will laugh at me because I know you are real horror fans. This is my favorite horror movie of all
Oh
time.
my God.
I know. I know.
I've never seen it because the subject matter I'm not up for it.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just
It
not
is
up for
a crazy story.
I was just gonna say I saw it once years and years ago. I don't really remember anything about it, but
Well, I'll tell you
I
about
only
it.
saw it the one time.
I'll tell you all about it. So, the premise of the movie. Well, and let me say this: when I first saw it, and I saw it right in '97 when it came out, Dee Snider was a distant memory for me in '97. So seeing him on the screen, I was like, "Hey, that's that guy." I was kind of like that. So it was about a serial killer who connected with his victims online. An extremely forward-thinking topic at the time, and basically, he ended up torturing what ended up being teenagers. So it was a man torturing children, and who was trying to rebuild himself and was taken off his medication, and everything went left. And really intense story. Just another example of a musician who, the two songs on this album led to this movie, basically. So it's almost like these guys like Rob Zombie and so forth have movies playing in their head when they're writing their music. It's like a full multimedia experience. Sure. So
yeah, there's some undertones to this song in this movie that shouldn't be running through any grown man's head. It's fucked up.
It's a crazy story, but to be fair, has come true in recent times, based on how the internet went forward. In 97, the internet was in its absolute infancy. Most people didn't even have internet in their homes in 97. So he also penned a script to a sequel called Strangeland Disciple, which did not end up getting created, and then tried to create Strangeland Rising Suns as another sequel, where Robert Englund had signed on again. He was in the original movie to do it. That also didn't end up getting made. Something great about Dee, though, he never stopped talking. He did his radio show, his original hair show from 1997. He would do another radio show from 2000 to 2009 called Dee Snider Radio. He's constantly doing these kind of like radio interview shows. He's done lots of video game and cartoon voiceovers, lots of charity work, including one very important concert to us locals here called Aftermath for the victims of the station nightclub fire in Warwick, Rhode Island. He was a contestant on CMT's Gone Country, which is a really strange place for him to be. It was about, I think you had to create the best country song or something like that. He was on the first episode of Kitchen Nightmares Season 2. On this show, he donated a motorcycle on which the Handlebar Restaurant, which was the feature of the show, could bid on via the restaurant's website. In 2010, his family began appearing on a reality television show called Growing Up Twisted, which only lasted one season, with his wife, Suzette. Talk about Suzette for a second. She was a costume designer. Anyone want to let me know whose costume she designed?
Twisted Sister.
Twisted Sister. She
had a good career, did she?
Well, that was her career, right? Was doing their costumes and making them. So she took him from kind of the glitter glam look, which I actually really liked, into the kind of, she said to him, it's too feminine for you. You need something more like rough and ragged. And she brought him into this kind of like rags and the shredded and the football.
Road Warrior.
Road Warrior. That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. So that show didn't last long, but that was at a time when a lot of celebrities were following in the Osbournes' footsteps and doing celebrity shows. He's done other appearances, such as a stint in the theater production of Rock of Ages, Celebrity Wife Swap, Celebrity Apprentice, Masked Singer, among other shows. An appearance, my favorite, an appearance in the Motionless in White video, Immaculate Misconception. Things are coming full circle here because we did talk about Motionless in White when we did Shotgun Messiah episode, as they had some work with producer Tim Skold.
Nice.
So we'll talk a tiny, just quick bit about how vocal Dee has been with Republicans and fascists, not using his music to represent their campaigns. Obviously, We're Not Going to Take It is an anthem song, and lots of people, not just political people, but lots of people have tried to steal this anthem and use it for whatever cause or whatever. But he's been very vocal in making sure that his music isn't used for things that he doesn't believe in. He's written 4 books, including a children's book called We're Not Going to Take It, which is absolutely adorable and has really cute illustrations. when talking about a reunion, Dave, you shared actually the quote that I had the same. They're not totally sticking to that because there was a performance in 2019, so after the 2016 falling apart, and I would guess they will come back, right? He now lives in North Carolina with his wife. He's a bit active on social media, loves to talk about his days with Twisted Sister. He has a website, dsnyder.com, has some future singing dates available in the coming months, sells meet and greet passes and other merch, including CDs and t-shirts from his solo work. He also has a website, House of Hair Online, for his radio show work, which also sells t-shirts, mugs, and even a baby onesie.
Ooh. Lisa, hearing you talk about Dee Snider, he sounds like such an intelligent, like really nice, good guy, which makes me circle back to when I opened for them at it was either Red Square or the Rock Pile. Which one was in Saugus? Same club?
Wasn't that the same place?
It was the same club.
Later on, they turned it into Red Square. They changed the name, but
so in retrospect, maybe it wasn't Dee Snider that was the asshole. I'm thinking back, and I was probably coked out, had like a little donut white ring around my nose. I was drunk. I'm like, Dee Snider, you like to do cocaine? He was like, get the fuck away from me, you little zombie. And I was like, you're an old asshole.
I don't want him to be an asshole. Like, I want him to be the good guy that we talk about.
He probably was. Now, if I was at the Rock Pile and Dez 1993 came up, I'd be like, get the fuck out. You are disgusting. Get away from me.
Okay, Eddie Fingers Ojeda. Fingers. Come on.
Fingers looking good.
Yeah, I also found out that another nickname of his was Mr. Freeze, but I can't find the reference as to why people called him that.
That sounds better because his fingers felt like they were frozen when he was recording this album.
So he just celebrated his 70th birthday about 2 weeks ago. This is the guy with the cool guitar. So the first thing I saw when I saw the video, I was like, oh my God, cool guitar. And what is it?
A Charvel.
A Charvel. So of course that's
Custom
why I
Charvel.
liked it. Yeah. So he was playing Charvels back in the day, and now he plays Wayne guitars, which was founded by Wayne Charvel, who is from the Charvel company. So that makes sense why I liked it. He began playing guitar at the age of 15. He was a member of the band SPX, which, by the way, there are no less than 5 bands with this same name, including one from the South Shore of Massachusetts who do tons of charity work and have raised a lot of money for a lot of great causes here in Massachusetts. But yeah, can you tell me where else one of these bands might be from, Des?
No.
San Francisco.
Oh.
I'm not joking either. Okay.
That's awesome.
So Ojeda underwent throat surgery in 1970s, and that inspired the song, 1982's Twisted Sister song, Under the Blade, which obviously was a target of the PMRC. After Twisted Sister in 1989, he was in a band called Scarecrow, which recorded 5 studio albums and had some success in the metal world while the glam world was on fire. This was much more of a I don't want to call it thrash metal, power metal, maybe, band. Pretty good and actually was very popular back at the time. He also recorded a solo album, Axes to Axes, in 2005, featuring Dee Snider, but also Ronnie James Dio and Rudy Sarzo. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
In an interview in 2006, he said that if Twisted Sister ever retired, that it would still be possible for the band to continue performing under their alternative name, Bent Brother. Anybody know this story?
No,
I don't know the story either. Apparently they have like an alter ego.
Yeah, I know they've used that when they played secret shows and
Bent
stuff
Brother.
like that.
So now you all know it.
I don't know the story behind that name though.
Like they're the Beatles, like they need an alter. Shut up, God.
In 2004, he performed in the stage musical Vampires Rock with Steve Steinman, who appeared as Meatloaf on British TV show called Stars in Their Eyes, not to be confused with the New Zealand TV show Stars in Their Eyes, another double use of names there. This is a cool thing. I actually didn't know about this, and I'm shocked I didn't know about this. But according to Wiki, the musical was set in the year 2030 in New York, where New York was populated by the undead. Baron von Rockula, owner of the Live and Let Die Club, is in search of a bride and must eventually convince her to agree to eternal immortality. So this show is continually touring even up to this year, in all sorts of different formulations and different lineups, with some kind of, I would call them sequel stories to the original story, and with a symphonic rock band. They weave a lot of music into these shows like Guns N' Roses and Metallica and Iron Maiden, AC/DC, and Queen. Their current tour is called Vampires Rock Eternal Love. I would love to check that out, so we have to watch for that to come around. It looks amazing.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. He launched Eddie Ojeda's Cherry Habanero Hot Sauce in 2013, expanding to additional flavors in 2015. You can still find it on twistedhotsauce.com. Cool name, Twisted Hot Sauce. Yeah. The site is a little outdated, but it still works, and the product is still available. He did come back to Twisted Sister when the band reformed to record their additional albums and go on the world tour, which ended in 2016. When the band came back together in 2023 to play a few songs at their Metal Hall of Fame induction, guitarist Eddie Ojeda couldn't make the event because he came down with COVID-19 the day of the show. Filling in for him was Keith Robert War, who was his guitar tech. Another reason to become a guitar tech is you sometimes get to play for the band.
Fun fact,
Yeah.
he's way, way better than Eddie, and the fans were treated to a much better show.
Well, the funny thing was that at this show in 2023, Ojeda said that a lot of people didn't know the band very well from back in the day and didn't even notice the switch in personnel. That's kind of sad.
Why would you?
Yeah. Yeah. JJ talked about his absence from the show, saying that he, Mark, and Dee take up a lot of oxygen in the room, so it's best when they are comfortable with who is playing with them, so Eddie was missed. But the show had to go on as they had people fly in from all over the world to see the performance. He didn't want people losing money on travel and such. JJ also explained that the show was a one-off and there was no full reunion planned. Eddie has a website, EddieOjedaStore.com, which you can buy merch, including the hot sauce, t-shirts, signed posters, guitar picks, and a mini replica of his Charvel guitar. His LinkedIn lists him as a singer, songwriter, and producer. In addition to being a guitarist, he's active on social media and still looks great. So, moving on to JJ French. JJ's mom was a successful player in politics as a consultant for the Democratic Party under JFK and as a campaign manager. He spent his early years as an activist, an anti-Vietnam War and civil rights activist to be specific. 2 months before graduation, French dropped out of George Washington High School as a protest to the student murders at Kent State University on May 4th, 1970. This is a man who doesn't just talk about his beliefs, but actually takes actions and lives his convictions. Just as his mom did. In 1972, he auditioned for Wicked Lester, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley's band. Did not make it in. Shortly after that, he joined Silver Star, a glitter metal band, which would become Twisted Sister. Silver Star had only JJ from the classic lineup of Twisted Sister. This set him up basically as the owner of Twisted Sister, as he would hire and fire people from the band over the years before the classic lineup, of course. The lineup was pretty fluid and rapidly changing until about 1981 or 82. As members left in the later 80s, like around 87, he decided to stop performing live under the Twisted Sister flag, even though he owned the flag. It's funny because looking back, I didn't know that he was the leader of the band. Did anyone else know? I mean, I felt like it was Dee.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I mean, that's what he wanted you to think, but
yeah. So he claims the Twisted Sisters' fall began way before the final fall of glam music. Maybe another sign that they weren't actually glam. But since the band was already collapsed, he also clearly saw the writing on the wall that of the coming death of glam, which he attributes solely to Nirvana and claims it literally happened in one afternoon. At the time, he was dealing with bankruptcy, a divorce, with managing a chain of pool halls, which the owner told him he could claim that he was the owner so that he wouldn't be embarrassed. He then became a stereo salesman before founding the French Management Enterprises Company, which was basically like a artist management agency, and also the production company Rebellion Music Inc. So from 1998, he took over the management of the Twisted Sister kind of catalog and ownership of the name and all of that. So he was really making all of the money. Am I wrong about this?
No.
Like, if you own the name, do you have to pay the previous guys? Did they get royalties, right? Like,
Not necessarily.
It depends.
That's
I mean, it
sad.
depends on the deal because I mean, D is going to make all the songwriting money because he
Right.
wrote the song.
oh, that's fair. Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
where the real money comes from.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I mean, JJ is getting money from
Merchandising,
other
and, yeah,
other income streams.
yeah, and
So-
probably from selling rights to the songs and commercials and things like that.
Let me run this around the
Maybe
table.
some.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
Dave, who was more responsible for killing glam metal? Okay. Was it A, Nirvana, or B, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction? Which band killed hair metal glam?
I got to go with Nirvana because because GNR fit within the scope of the whole glam metal world, and even though it was more street, but the whole Nirvana thing just is so the other end of the spectrum and just ruined it.
Lisa, who do you think ushered in the change?
C, Mr. Big.
Ah.
No, I really think it was that the glam bands were being squeezed at the beginning of the 90s to make every penny they could. They were exhausted. They were falling in on each other. They weren't creating any new stuff. And they were signing anyone with a look, not necessarily a talent. And I think that's why it fell apart.
They were signing terrible.
That's a big
bands.
part. That's a big part. You got to remember, though, after Appetite for Destruction dropped, it shook the hair metal world to its core. And a lot of these bands were exposed as frauds because overnight they all got bandanas, they all got cowboy boots, they all took off. And it was so obvious. Everyone was like, what is going on? And it weakened the brand. It watered down the brand. Everybody can't be Guns N' Roses. And they all tried to be, and they weren't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have to give them part of the blame anyway.
Okay, going back to JJ, he also in that year, I believe that was 1988 we were on, became a voting member of the Grammys, which is fascinating to me. That is a great position, I think. So, through the 90s, as the owner of the Twisted Sister namespace, he would reform the band and constantly change members, putting out a couple more albums, but was working much harder on producing work for other artists. So he signed a band called Snake Nation, which changed their name to Crawl Space. But since there was another band by the name of Crawl Space, they changed their name to Seven Dust and became quite popular. Seven Dust actually still touring today and have a show I believe in September, so not too long from now, a couple weeks. Tickets are $150 a piece.
Wow, that's steep.
That's
wow,
ridiculous.
right?
That's steep.
I know. I didn't realize how popular they were. They kind of were a flash in the pan to me, but it's not my style of music. But
yeah, I think I went and saw them play in Rhode Island back in the day. They were big for a minute.
I listened to a little bit of it because we were doing this album. It's cool. It just they kind of sounded like a lot of other bands to me. So
yeah.
Okay. So the other bands by the name of Crawl Space, there was one from Belgium, a death metal band, one from Australia, a rock band with the same name, and the other one, while not San Francisco, was Los Angeles. So in 1996, French created the Pink Burst Project to support research on the condition his 6-year-old child was suffering from, uveitis. It's an autoimmune disease of the eye that causes issues with vision and pain. The project collected 14 pink custom-made guitars crafted by brands that included Fender, Gibson, Gretsch, and Martin. So cool. Do you have one of those, Dave? Because if you don't, we need to get you one.
I don't have one of those.
In 2000, he founded Rebellion Entertainment with former Sony exec Sean Sullivan. In November 2001, Twisted Sister reunited following the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center for a November 2001 fundraiser organized by Eddie Trunk. This led to a worldwide tour and put them basically back on the map again, I would say. He did license a Christmas album and also licensed the band's 2 hit songs to countless movies, TV shows, and commercials. He seems to be, if you listen to kind of interviews with him, a bit salty and not exactly gracious or anything for his success. According to Wiki, French stated in 2018, that current incarnations of bands like Judas Priest and Foreigners were just cover bands because most of their classic lineups were no longer involved. He compared them unfavorably with Twisted Sister, stating, "Every Twisted Sister show is perfect. Every show is the last show of our life. Every show is done with a sincerity and heartfelt desire to make sure you walk away thinking that it's the best thing you're ever going to see." He claims Twisted Sister became bigger than they ever were in the 80s. Salty. Yeah.
This is the same guy that said, "Yeah, those are my finished guitar tracks on this album. Best thing you
Yeah.
ever heard. Best thing you ever heard. Foreigner
Yeah.
sucks. Twisted Sisters is amazing."
Wow. Yeah. He's a prolific writer and journalist and is also a motivational speaker for Fortune 500 companies, which kind of fits the mindset that he has, I think. He speaks about success and not giving up and coming from basically the slow burn he had with Twisted Sister to working with this band for nearly a decade before they actually hit the payoff. In 2019, he announced his retirement. He was glad he got to go out on his own terms after the resurgence of the band. He owns twistedsister.com. It's a dead site. His website, jjfrench.com, is up, however, and focuses solely on his speaking engagements and podcast work.
And what makes him I don't know, qualified to be a motivational speaker and all this? Like what is his like claim to fame in that department?
He claims that that as Twisted Sister was coming up in the 70s, they had a lot of, they didn't make it big right away and they had to stick with it. And the way that you succeed in life is you stick with something. And he does that with that. He talks about that. And then the same thing with his production company, how it wasn't a success right out of the gate. It took them a long time to find artists to put together to be a success, but it's about working hard.
And he managed Twisted Sister for a long time. And he also managed these other bands.
This isn't like, I thought you were going to say he like co-founded like fucking Tesla or something.
Yeah, no, I just don't like his attitude about saying that other bands aren't as good as his. And I think that's being, not very humble and not very gracious of a person.
So if Tony Roberts is doing his retreat on Saturday in Hotel A, and then Hotel across the street B, you've got French Fry doing his.
Tony Robbins.
Which one?
Oh my God!
Give me a break with this fucking guy. I want a hug from Tony Robbins. If he listens to the show.
I'm going to see JJ.
Of course you are.
To have your Charvel signed.
Yeah,
sure.
Make the guitar face for him. Yeah. Okay, moving on to Mark the Animal Mendoza. Another silly name, the Animal. Where did that come from? Yeah. So
look at the way he plays the bass. Come on.
Wouldn't you give some like the drummer the name the Animal, like after the Muppets? I don't know.
Usually, I don't know.
Okay, so he picked up his first salvage guitar at the age of 9. By the age of 12, he had his first bass, as he is essentially self-taught, listening to 50s rock on the radio like Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Jerry Lee Lewis. He was also listening to swing music and the crooners, so very different background for this guy than most of the people that we hear about. We usually hear about them going, "Oh, Led Zeppelin," and Rolling Stones.
Means he's 100 years old.
Maybe.
Right.
He was younger. I think he was born in 59. I think so. He was 4 years younger than some of the other guys born in 55. So I don't know. A member of the New York band The Dictators. This is Dave's favorite subject. Yeah.
Dictators.
From 1976 to 1979, this band has a pretty storied history with 6 studio albums and lots of singles. Despite some extended hiatuses, they're still playing today, including 2 of their original members. In 88, which I'm sure JJ would say, "Oh, it's just a cover band." In 88, he joined Blackfoot, which was a southern rock band that had formed in 1970. You want to talk about crazy lineup changes? Go to the Wikipedia of this band, Blackfoot, and see the 560 million members that this band has over time.
As many as LA Guns?
More. Like,
wow.
I almost died when I saw the schedule of who was in the band. I couldn't even follow, like, who was in the band at what time. They are still playing today with their original singer. He also did some work with Leslie West, a guitarist of Mountain, who played at Woodstock and had a hugely storied and extensive career.
Yeah, he was a New York guy.
Yeah, but unfortunately dealt with some serious addiction issues and lots of health problems such as bladder cancer and diabetes. Had his leg amputated in 2014 and then passed in 2020. Just about every guitarist and musician of note celebrated his life when he passed. So a monster of a man, from what I understand. So, like, huge. He joined Twisted Sister on June 10th, 1978, which was only 3 days after losing his father, who was very supportive of his music career. His mom insisted that he go ahead with this debut show with the band because it's what his father would have wanted. He continued to work in the music industry, writing and producing. He's the co-founder of Area 22 Productions, which Wiki claims he hosts a weekly podcast called 22 Now. However, there have been no social media posts from this since mid-2024, and the website seems to be offline. The last episode I can find was April of 2023. He also works with his partner, Marla Adler, who is a singer, on some Christmas songs, including the song I'm Your Christmas Present, which recently released. Marla is a singer, a backup singer, and a DJ, and has toured all over the world and done many appearances. Long Island's 94.3 The Shark on the Sunday night rock show Rock in a Hard Place. Was that an ich?
No, I said like a shark bite.
Oh, like a shark bite.
I tried to make a shark bite sound.
That fell.
We can stick that in post.
Yeah. So this show, Rock in a Hard Place from Long Island's 94.3, became a podcast, and he still appears on it as recently as 1 week ago. So, all right. AJ Pero, of course, the unfortunate tragedy. We lost AJ in 2015 while he was on tour. He grew up in New York, emulating Neil Peart and John Bonham. He received his first drum kit at the age of 4 when his parents saw him playing on pots and pans. How did
he die?
Well, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know if you had the information.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Teasing it.
Yeah, teasing it. Yeah. At the age of 7, he was invited to perform as a solo artist on the Mike Douglas Show. At the age of 10, he played at the Jerry Lewis Telethon, covering songs from jazz icons Charlie Parker and Dave Brubeck. He was in a band called Cities just prior to joining Twisted Sister. This was a heavy metal, you might even call them power metal band. They had a few songs appear on a few compilations, and they had an album called Annihilation. Ron Angel on vocals, Steve Minovich on guitars. R.I.P. to Steve. He passed in 2024. He was in a ton of New York bands, and that was a recent loss. Sal Main, who did a lot of press about Cities back in the day, shared that he loved AJ, even though he left and joined Twisted Sister. But he claims that their live shows were far superior. Twisted Sister's live shows were far superior than anything that they were doing in the studio, which I hope that's true. AJ did end up leaving Twisted Sister for a minute in 1986 and returning to Cities before coming back permanently, basically until his death. He was in an Ozzy Osbourne cover band called No More Tears. And in 2007, he formed Circle of Thorns with former Cities guitarist Steve Minovich. In 2011, he played a song on the Eric Carr Unfinished Business CD. We, of course, lost Eric Carr in 1991. R.I.P. to the Fox.
Yes.
April 2011, he was chosen to serve as the national spokesperson for Fallen Blue, a nonprofit organization created to provide emotional and financial support to families of police officers killed outside the line of duty.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's nice seeing an inside peek into these guys.
Yeah,
like
so
this.
much charity work, which is so great to me.
Yep, he got into heaven.
Yeah. In 2013, he joined Adrenaline Mob, a band that had formed 2 years before, replacing member Mike Portnoy. The band is known basically as a super group, which I don't know that I would put them in that category, but that's how they bill themselves. He was in the band when John Moyer from Disturbed was on bass. Mike Orlando on guitar. He's worked with Zakk Wylde, founded a band called Nocturnal, and most importantly for me, since 2019, has been working with Sirenia singer Aylin, and formed the rock and metal band Her Chariot Awaits. Sirenia, of course, being a fantastic gothic metal band, kind of symphonic goth. They now have Emmanuel Zoldan as their female vocalist, who is a former choir singer for Sirenia, and a singer also in the band Trail of Tears, another amazing gothic metal symphonic goth band. So fun seeing the goth crossover there. Singer Russell Allen from Symphony X and he was actually in Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So interesting crossover. Lots of symphonic goth in that band. Yeah. Now here's the information you're asking for. AJ was found unresponsive on the tour bus of Adrenaline Mob in 2015. The other band members attempted to rouse him. He was declared passed at the hospital of an apparent heart attack on the bus. He was only 55 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
Very, very sad.
yikes.
Huge loss. On June 13th, 2015, Twisted Sister paid tribute to AJ with a special concert at the Starland Ballroom in Sayersville, New Jersey. Sayersville, New Jersey, as well as a show at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas that year.
Hometown of John Bon Jovi.
Sorry.
And Vintage Vinyl Records.
And Vintage Vinyl Records.
Close.
Yeah.
Next town over.
This past March was the 10th anniversary of his passing, and fans remembering him as being kind and always wanting to meet them and take photos. And lots of people posted their photos that they took with him. I always like it when the guys are open to seeing their fans and thankful for what they do.
Sounds
And
nice.
yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Good facts, guys. We learned some stuff. Okay, let's rate this bad boy. Let's rate this singer. As always, it's 1 through 100. 25 on hair, 25 on style and stage presence, and 50% on vocal talent. I will get us started. I say this with all the respect in the world. Dee Snider, not my cup of tea. Hair, way too curly. 11 points there. Clothes and stage show were absolutely ridiculous, even in 1984. So minus 1 point there.
Can you do that?
Yes, you can do that. His vocals, serviceable, but again, they just don't do it for me. So 29 points there for a total of 39 points for Dee Snider. Dave.
All right. Just putting it into the chart. For D, I'm giving him a 25 on hair. It was fantastic.
What?
Back in the day, it was huge. I looked into it to see if, it was a wig or maybe he added on to it with a hairpiece, since his, regular non-stage hair is much less large. Dee Snider has stated definitively that his signature hairstyle, particularly the long, voluminous hair he sported with Twisted Sister, was his real hair and not a wig. He has addressed the misconception that it was, emphasizing that it would have been much easier to manage if it were. He also joked about how people think he wore a wig and how he would have loved it if it was true, because it would have been far less work. 23 on style and stage presence. Dee's show outfit was wild and definitely attention-getting. Hot pink and black with fringes and straps. These guys dressed halfway in between a metal band and pro wrestlers, with a matching painted mic stand, no less. He moved around the stage and posed and headbanged like a pro due to all their extensive experience playing so many shows. Even when Twisted wore their street clothes, he still looked cool and intimidating. I'm giving him a 36.6 on vocals. Excellent singing, unique tone. Not necessarily the best singer ever, but still very good. Overall, I'm giving D an 84.6.
84.6 for Dee Snider. Lisa,
That's right.
How did you see the big boy?
This is one of the icons of the era, wouldn't you say?
No.
If you see him, you know exactly who he is. You know exactly what band is playing, and you know exactly what you're going to get.
Yep.
There is no question about what's happening. No mistaking that mop of curly blonde hair, which I also believe was at least extensions to make it fuller. I can't imagine real hair like doing that, but who knows? The dramatic drag queen style makeup, the shoulder pads, the crazy poses. He was a guy that looked great in magazines just because his personality came through in every photo. So he was just over 30 when this album came out. But in my memory, I remember thinking of him as kind of an old man, at least how he looked. And, he came from a band that kind of started in the 70s. He felt old man to me. And, when you saw him without the makeup, he looked even older. He definitely didn't look 30 to me. His style was top notch. The band had a mood, a feeling, a look, a marketing package that fit nicely with the times. He commanded the attention of, an arena. He was a good front man. His voice was maybe not the best. He's lacking something that is so essential to vocalists of the time, vocal recognition. He kind of sounded different on all of the tracks. If you played a song to me that like,
Oh, I don't agree.
and didn't tell me who it was and said, "Who is this singing?" I would not have been able to pick him out of a lineup at all.
I couldn't.
Oh, I could. He's
Really?
so,
I couldn't.
so
He's got a
signature.
unique tone.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. The vocals were sometimes generic, sometimes an over emulation of another singer. There's no high notes, no pure metal scream. He kind of skated through these things with his ability to market and package this band. We often talk about how there were so many talented bands at the time, why some made it and others didn't. And I think this is the key. Someone who could sell themselves, had a basic ability to be musical and interesting. Extreme talent in those days maybe didn't matter as much. If you take away the persona, the costumes, the attitude, the campiness, and you just listen to the isolated vocals on some of these tracks, would you have had, any kind of response to that? I don't think I would have. But at the time, he wrote all their songs and had, some of the best universal hooks ever written. So this is how he balanced it out, marketing. So my total score, 70.3.
Lisa, you were talking about how he seemed like an old man. So this is weird. This is another one of those things that we'll have to talk about on VVR After Dark. People were fucking, like, back in the 80s, even 70s, 80s, people were so much older at a younger age.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. How old do you think Red Fox was during the filming? No, seriously, during the filming of Sanford and Son.
Yeah. Like in my head, he was like 65 or 70, and I know he wasn't.
He was 49.
Yeah. What about the Golden Girls? They were all very young.
Yeah, they were all in their 40s.
Yeah.
Go through it. Carol O'Connor.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Mhm.
It's insane. Oh
Yep.
my God. So yeah, he seemed older because really he was. Like, I'm 10 years younger than I am, really, now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's add those up and you tell me where he lands on the list.
Okay, on the Violent Vinyl frontman leaderboard, Dee Snider, from the era of Stay Hungry 1984, ends up at number 19 on our chart with a total score of 64.63, putting him just barely above Steve Whitehouse from Kix and just under Rob Zombie.
Criminally low.
Criminally high.
No.
Listen, I am fucking taking Gary Sharon out for dinner to be my singer. Like, listen, I will buy you anything you want. Mike's roast beef sandwich. Just, I can't have this other guy in my band. Okay. Yikes. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Let's get into some opening thoughts and then we will. No.
An hour and a half in.
Yes. How did that happen?
We can start the show.
An hour and a half in.
Let's do it.
Well, fortunately, it's a very short album. So,
yeah. Yes.
Okay. So, opening thoughts. Even as a 14-year-old headbanger, I knew these guys looked like hot shit. I just could not take them seriously for that reason. I only know a handful of Twisted Sister songs. And surprisingly, they were all on this album. So for me, this was pretty much a fresh listen. At least I wrote this opening thought before I listened to the album. I thought it was going to be a fresh listen, but I was pretty familiar with most of the album. I had said that I doubted I ever listened to it from front to back, but I think I might have. So yeah, that was pretty much where I was going into this. But even if I had heard it front to back, not a lot. So it was really a fresh listen for me. Dave.
I have listened to this song. This is another one where I heard the singles at the time on the radio, and especially on MTV. They really hammered these two videos from this album. When doing my research, it did say somewhere that MTV and Atlantic Records at the time had the same parent company, so that's why they got such a hard push. Anyway, I did not get the album until later. At the time, being a 10-year-old kid, from their image and their slapstick videos, you weren't really sure if they were a serious metal band, which they were, or if they were, a comedy act, a novelty band. After hearing the album later on, you found out what is up. They could play well, and Dee could write some great songs and belt them out for sure. After that, I had to go look for all the rest of their stuff.
Lisa.
I don't think I've listened to this album before, at least not intentionally. I never owned this. Twisted Sister was also like, you know, the two hits for me, the anthem band. And of course, everyone loved and stood by those two songs. But I felt like they were a bit before my time. I do remember the videos on early MTV and loving the campy images and costumes. I had zero idea that this wasn't truly a glam band because I had never heard anything else that they had done except for these two songs. I had always put them in the category of 70s bands, and as you know, for me, that is not my style of music. Their hit albums were done by 1984, and the albums they had in 85, Come Out and Play, in 87, Love is for Suckers, were not successful at all. I don't remember anything from those albums or even seeing them on MTV, so my exposure to them is extremely limited. However, I will say that I was a huge fan of Dee Snider because of his appearance before Congress during the congressional hearings spurred by the PMRC's extreme right position of censoring artists. Of course, this was the time of the Satanic Panic, and that was very much a forefront in my life, and the need to control people and subject them to their false belief systems. Dee shows up in this kind of rock star dress. I mean, he was toned down from what he would wear on stage, right? But you can see them, you know, thinking, oh, smugly, you know, we've got this. And he schools them. And at the time, I was a huge nerd, and being smart wasn't cool. And here was Dee, and he was smart and he was cool. And it showed me that you could be both of these things, and kind of like you're a silent weapon. No one would ever see you coming. Still true to this day. I don't look like I should be smart, but I can school just about anyone in multiple topics. And I love it when men try to mansplain to me one of my specialties, whether it be, you know, software design or technology or medicine or whatever. And, you know, they slink off when they realize that they've been outdone. Yeah. This band was touring before I was born. It wouldn't be until 83 that they showed up with other bands that I might possibly see, like Whitesnake. But really, they were touring with bands like Blue Oyster Cult and Thin Lizzy and ZZ Top and Iron Maiden, which were the exact opposite of what I was listening to at the time. I've never seen them live, not once. And even though they did eventually tour with some of the bands I liked, like Rat, and occasionally had like kind of festival shows with glam bands, even saying that, I still have never seen them. Shocker. So
I witnessed the destruction of a ill informed gentleman at the hands of Lisa, the dismantling, the disrobing. Yeah. We won't mention names here, but it was my wife was watching it with a bucket of popcorn, like, oh, guys, look at this. Oh, no, she didn't. Oh, it was funny. I got the whole thing in real time. My wife was very impressed with that dismantling. Okay, let's get into the thoughts and the tracks on this one. So the album opens up with Stay Hungry. And I do want to say, you know, listening to this album, there was one track that we're going to get to that for me was a big old treat that I will definitely revisit again. But Stay Hungry. So this one was vaguely familiar to me. Right off the bat, I was very impressed with Mark Mendoza's bass. I mentioned that in the beginning. I thought the bass playing was fucking excellent on this album. Next up, the vocals. Surprisingly good. Again, I'm kind of just going off memory of Dee Snider and what I hear on the radio, which is basically the three big hits they had. And really, we only hear two of them a lot on the radio. So hearing them, you know, outside of those familiar songs was interesting, and it was good. I liked it. I really, really like the pre-chorus section. The change is so catchy, and it's honestly the best hook in the song. It's one of those, you know, those phenomenons that happens here in this song in particular. I really like this pre-chorus. Unfortunately, the guitar solo came in, and Eddie Ojeda fell on his fucking face on this solo. It sucks ass. Overall, though, I really like the track. I did think the production was a little wonky. I don't think the production on this album is really that slick or good. You know, it's above a demo, but it doesn't sound like a full blown studio hair metal album. It lacks some polish. Dave.
A cool opening that has that signature Twisted Sister groove and sound. The sound of the band is a little more polite on this record than you might expect. I'm guessing that's Tom Werman's fault and one of the reasons they now complain about the sound of this album.
Mhm.
A quick YouTube search reveals a live 1984 performance on the official Twisted Sister YouTube channel that is considerably faster and grittier. The guitar solo, according to the Wikipedia page on this one, is JJ French playing. It's fine. Yeah, nothing groundbreaking, but he does play a couple solos on this album.
Yeah, no, I was checking. I was actually checking song by song, so I guess I just hadn't done that for this first one.
The lyrics are good, full of action words that keep things moving. They aren't super deep, but inspiration for the overachievers out there.
So it's JJ that fell on his face. He should have fucking inspired himself to learn how to play guitar before recording an album. Lisa.
So not sure how I feel about this opening. It's a little bit confusing. The percussion gets really muddied in the production, and the guitars are pulled all the way to the front. Immediately, I get the feeling that this production is extremely dated. It feels like something you heard on the radio with no thickness at all.
Yep.
I almost can't hear the bass, and that was the best part of the song. The song arrangement is very clearly early 80s radio-friendly format with a tiny bit of metal behind it. I can't help but think in the same time period we had Dawkins Tooth and Nail, Wasp's self-titled album, Rat Out of the Cellar, Depeche Mode, Some Great Reward, Metallica Ride the Lightning, Van Halen's 84, Prince Purple Rain. Production could have been good. I don't know what happened here. It sounds almost amateurish to me.
Tom Mormon.
Yeah.
Right.
The lyrics are empty. There is a nice cadence to them, and they're delivered cleanly. He did a good job with it, but there's no interesting story, and there's so much rhyming. Be the hunter and the hunted. Keep your target in sight. Don't be sidetracked or shunted. Let pretenders feel your bite. Are you kidding me?
Shunted?
Like,
Did you say
shunted.
shunted?
Shunted.
Shunted?
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing. I like the title of this song. Like it's a very memorable title. It's a good title track for the album. Even the hook in the chorus is pretty good. The pre-chorus is probably if there's a good part of the song, probably the best part of the song. There's no room for the wannabes, the has-beens, or the bad, I think, and it's a really cool little melody. But there's something missing here. The guitar solo, which seems to be like that both of the guitarists playing, I'm not really sure how they layered that in there. It's very short. It could have, for this song, it should have been like an extra 16 or 32 bars so it could go somewhere. At this point, I don't understand how much I'm going to dislike these guitarists, but at this point I'm like, oh, maybe if they let them play longer it would have blossomed more. I'll learn later that that's not going to happen.
During the guitar duel, the fucking Special Olympics guitar duel.
Yeah, I do like the stick ending. It's really clean, but the song overall is totally forgettable. So.
Lisa, you could not have described the production of this album any more perfectly. Like, that is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Just empty, no warmth, just thin as fuck. Just so unbalanced, like just terrible. Just above a demo, not quite a studio album, just as I described it. Number 2, We're Not Gonna Take It. Production definitely does punch up here. They when it counted, they got it a little closer to where it needed to be. I'm not going to pretend like this song wasn't awesome, because it was. It was. I mean, if you close your eyes, you don't watch the video, you just hear the song. It's got a monster hook. It's not my flavor of music. This isn't fucking sex action. This isn't something that I loved, but I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't a great, catchy, fucking one-hit wonder smash hit. It was. Great drums and bass, for what you can hear. Unfortunately, we get another underwhelming guitar solo. But this is undeniably cemented in hair metal pulp culture for a reason. It's a well-written song. Dave.
This was the first single from the album. It became a number 21 hit in the United States on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart, making it Twisted Sister's only top 40 single. As influences for the song, Dee cites the glam rock band Slade and the Christmas carol, O Come All Ye Faithful.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, think about it. Oh, come all ye faithful.
Okay, I get it. Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
shit. There it is.
I never would have picked that out.
Oh, yeah. He totally, just
Brilliant.
stole a little bit.
Now I can never unhear it, though.
Yeah, right?
We're getting to that. Reportedly, Snyder wrote the song's hook years earlier, but finished the song for this album. Mark Metcalf, who played Niedermeyer in the film Animal House, stars in this video as the overbearing, bordering on abusive military-style dad. He gets his when the kid in the video and his brothers, I guess, all turn into members of the band, who in their stage outfits look like larger-than-life cartoon characters, and drag him down the stairs by his hair and blast him out of a window with a guitar strum. Mm-hmm. This Bugs Bunny cartoon-style violence, I'm sure, is what the PMRC had an issue with. They wanted us to be good little boys and girls and take whatever abuse authority figures dish out and not stand up for ourselves. Respect my authority. Never trust Whitey. So when testifying in front of the PMRC regarding this song, Dee stated there is absolutely no violence of any type, either sung about or implied anywhere in the song. He is correct. Rolling Stone ranked the song at number 81 on their 100 greatest heavy metal songs of all time list. In 2016, here's a nice one. Dee Snider gave magician Chris Angel the rights to use this song as an anthem for his HELP, that's Heal Every Life Possible charity. Snider appeared in a video of a stripped-down acoustic version of the song, recorded in the desert outside Las Vegas and featuring children in the hospital and a young woman shaving her head to symbolize fighting cancer. The song was used by Ukrainians protesting the 2022 invasion by Russia, and that was with Dee's approval.
That's right, because he's Ukrainian ancestry and also smart.
You even get some intelligence in Dee's lyrics that you don't hear from many other bands. It's not, hey, I'll jump in my car and go down to the bar, looking at you, Paul Stanley. You get $5 words like condescending and confiscated. If you're 11 years old, you might need to crack open a dictionary. Twisted Sister is educational. This one is a classic. Sure, you know about the part that is borrowed from the Christmas Carol. Once you know about that, you can never unhear it. But it's 3.5 minutes of teenage rebellion with a sing-along and a great cowbell drum groove.
Dave, how's you gonna get down to that bar? You gotta jump in your car.
That's right.
I think the youth of today has gone too far in the other direction, though, because now children are like adults at the age of like 12. They've got a cell phone. They've got a vape pen. They're like, fuck you, mom. You tell me what to do, I'll fucking blast you on social media. And they're like, all right, little Johnny, take the car keys and go to the bar.
Amazing. Okay, so here's the big hit. There are very few songs in the world that are literally instant classics, that hit a chord with an entire generation, no matter what your background is, that are remembered and replayed over and over again and used or even stolen for marketing purposes. It just becomes kind of the fabric of our life and our memory, and this is definitely one of them. It's been covered, it's been parodied, it's been celebrated by literally everyone. You'd have to be from another planet to have never heard this song before. In 1985, it did receive criticism, as we said, from the PMRC. And of course, those allegations were repudiated by lead singer Dee Snider. There's no mistaking this percussion opening. This anthem is a call to the youth. This song is all hook. And the hook is why we loved it. It's why we remember it. Imagine writing a hook like this. Like, how could you ever do better?
Ka-ching.
Like, was there ever an opportunity for a better thing to come out of? I mean, this is it, right? It's so simple, and that's why it's so great. There's only 2 verses here, pretty effective. He drips with contemptuous disdain. It's like he's mocking whoever he's singing to. But let's be clear, the song doesn't tell you who he's singing to, right? He's just singing the song. However, the PMRC picked this as one of their Filthy 15 because they felt like they were being targeted by it. And why is that? Not because the song said so, right?
Right.
Guilty conscience.
Guilty conscience. It's because they know the song was meant for them. They knew they were garbage and worthy of the hate of the people. They knew they were taking away people's rights. And the idea that people would be able to choose their own destiny was a threat to them. Fuck the PMRC, both then and now. The guitar solo on this song follows the vocal melody almost identically with just a tiny bit of flair. Not the most creative solo, feels a bit wobbly to me, but it is timeless and fits the song.
That's the whammy bar.
Wobbly, yeah.
It's terrible. Lisa, wait,
yeah.
that sticker that the PMRC like demanded be put on these albums, and
yeah.
that filthy 15 sold more albums
Yes.
than fucking anything. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just looking for the ones with the fucking sticker on it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, remember, I spent, a good amount of time working for Sam Goody. That's what a lot of people would do. Oh, it has a sticker, I need to buy it.
Yeah,
So,
give me 2.
Yep. So I first heard this actually from the video. I didn't hear it on the radio first. There's a short and an extended version of the video. I was a kid then, like younger, I think, than the kid in the video. I was really, really young. And, it was fascinating to me to see this video. The dad's yelling at him, basically abusing him, and he magically turns into a very costumed, drag makeup Dee Snider with the most fabulous, huge blonde hair ever. And that was, of course, my first exposure to him. And I was like, wow, look at that guy. He's like a cartoon character. And then, of course, the siblings, turned into the rest of the band. And, we've got almost like the Home Alone style pranks that the dad is playing to try to get back into the house after he's thrown out of the house. We've got some live shots of the band in front of a, crowd that looks like they're having a great time. It's campy, it's silly, it's fun, and it empowered a generation of youngsters. It's sad that this song has been hijacked and literally stolen by the Republican Party, who Dee calls fascists. He said, Trump supporters are just about the last people in the world the song was intended for. In fact, they are exactly the kind of people that inspired this song. He also said, every time you sing, "We're not going to take it," remember that it was written by a cross-dressing, libtard, tree-hugging half-Jew who hates everything you stand for. It's you and people like you that inspired every angry word of this song, so fuck off. And he did that on Twitter.
Wow.
And then in response to that tweet, a man named Michael Gazzard says, never underestimate Dee. In the 80s, Congress thought that they would make a laughing stock of him. He handed them their shorts. This wasn't the only song, of course, that they've stolen. In fact, many infuriated artists have had to send cease and desist letters to the Republican Party, including the Village People. Strange choice. Ozzy Osbourne, Queen, Neil Young, Adele, Rihanna, Guns N' Roses, Rolling Stones, Aerosmith, and Elton John all want them to stop using their music. In fact, the list of people who have asked him to stop stealing their music is too long to list here. You can Google it. There are many resources online, but hold on to your hat. It's a long read.
Interesting. A little political twist there. I have absolutely zero opinion on any of it.
I'm just reading Dee Snider's statements. So,
to each their own. Track number 3, Burn in Hell. So for me, unfortunately, the intro was a slog. I didn't remember this intro. I remember the song just being the song. So when it kicked in, I went, this isn't Burn in Hell. What is that? I had to check. I'm like, did fucking Pandora skip ahead of track or something? Nope, this is Burn in Hell. It starts off with this slog of an intro. I wish they had left it out because once the song kicks in, it's fucking great. Fucking love this song. Chorus, totally badass. The video, which doesn't exist, totally badass. I honestly think that if Dee Snider had come out looking like he did when he went into that PMRC hearing, I think I would have liked Twisted Sister a lot more. He was big. He was tough. He was fucking looked dirty in this video. He just looked like a badass. He was like, fuck you. Like, I wouldn't fuck with Dee Snider dressed like that. Fucking knock your dick in the dirt. He was like 6'3", 200 pounds of fucking giant man. Like, no. So I love this song. I love this image for Twisted Sister. I wish they had just stayed with this. This is probably in my top 2 favorite Twisted Sister songs of all times. Unfortunately, just like every other song on this album, the solo sucked. And it was really taking me out of these songs and making me have to imagine what this album could have sounded like if they actually had a lead guitar player, which they didn't. They did not have a lead guitar player. Dave.
Slow metal beginning, and then it kicks in big time. We get some great high notes from D. How do you live on the edge of a knife? Ouch. Dual guitar solo on this one. The lyrics are summarized in the one line, what you do will decide your own fate. Not storybook capital H hell, but a figurative hell of your own making. Of course, if you've seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, this song makes an appearance during the chase scene through the movie studio lot. According to a 2023 article on ultimateclassicrock.com by Matt Wardlaw, the Long Island band made a cameo in 1985's Pee-wee's Big Adventure that stemmed from an earlier connection. Frontman Dee Snider made with Paul Rubens, the comedian behind Pee-wee. They ran into each other at an MTV party on New Year's Eve one year and expressed their mutual admiration. After exchanging numbers, they moved on. But a bond was forged when Twisted Sister came to California to play a string of sold-out concerts at the Long Beach Arena, opening for Iron Maiden in early 1985. Snider received a phone call. Pee-wee heard that we were in town, called up and said, "Hey, I'm doing this movie," speaking in a very normal voice, no Pee-wee voice. Snider recalled during a 2022 interview. He said, "Would you do a cameo?" He knew Rubens was a fan of the band's music, so Snider tried to zero in on what song Twisted Sister would perform in the scene. Like We're Not Gonna Take It or I Wanna Rock? Pee-wee goes, "No, man, Burn in Hell," Snider recalled. I'm like, yes, Pee-wee, Burn in Hell, metal.
It's awesome.
Yeah. The band is making a fictitious video for the song, riding slow in a Cadillac with D on the front hood. Who needs Tawny Kitaen, huh? No spoilers, but somehow their video shoot gets interrupted. Less than 1 minute scene, but very classic. Pee-wee's Big Adventure rules.
Dave, just because you're pretending like the guitar work didn't happen on this album doesn't mean it didn't. You are like glossing over this. Like there's not a mention of a guitar, anything on Dave's notes. Usually he's like, this was the amp. He's playing like this scale. He comes to descending and into the,
he's in this kind of pick. And it's
today he's just like, dust balling by. Like, no, it happened. Lisa, talk about it.
Okay. I do like the opening guitar lick of this song. It immediately feels like a much darker metal song than what we've heard, especially against the campy song that just finished. The vocals are darker. It almost feels a little like Ozzy or Alice Cooper in style. And then the hook comes in and it sounds even a little bit like Iron Maiden. This song has a better production than the first song by leaps and bounds, and the sound is much thicker. The dual guitars are more evident here. The lyrics are telling a story here and are much deeper than the first two songs. Someone contemplating their life choices and being fine with it. And of course, I'm all for the early 80s satanic panic blasphemy and scare lyrics. They seem so tame now in today's world, though. Under the third chorus, we get some great response lines behind the hook. So like the hook will come in, "Oh, burn in hell," and you'll get like the don't you lay no evil down on me, like sung beside it, which we didn't get in the first two choruses. I thought that was a nice way to change it up. We get a metal solo here. We can definitely hear both guitarists, or at least two layered guitars. I'm not sure if it's the two of them.
Yeah. I believe it's a co-lead.
Yeah. So, on the album notes, we have a lead guitarist and we have a rhythm guitarist. And as Des keeps saying, we don't have a lead guitarist. I don't know what we have here, and I don't know why they made a separation between the two. They're both kind of playing some leads, and they're both kind of playing some rhythms, and I don't really like much of any of it, but I don't feel like one of these guys is the lead and the other guy is the rhythm. I don't feel like that at all. So I like the last chorus when the tone comes way down with just the percussion. I actually kind of like this song.
Between the two of them, they're not even one bad lead guitar player.
Mm.
Terrible. Track number 4, Horror Terra. Is that what it is? That's the name? The beginning? Horror Terra, the beginning?
Hortaria?
Terria was Terria.
Horritaria,
Like cafeteria?
cafeteria.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, Jesus, man.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Time to go back to school. I read that one wrong. Yeah, I didn't even know what was going on here. I put this on and I'm not on board for this weird Alice Cooper thing. Like, there's a fine line between Alice Cooper and this, okay? I don't want to know what Captain Howdy was up to, okay? I bet that Chris Hansen was definitely looking for him, though. This song is so fucking creepy in the bad way, The production on this one, unusually bad, like one of the real potholes on the album from a production standpoint. I hated the train wreck at the end of this with all these demented lyrics. This song is a steaming pile of dog shit that should not exist. It's not clever. It's not fun. It's just gross. And the solos on this one are a fucking joke. Dave.
Yeah, this is definitely a concept album in the making. In a 2025 article on loudersound.com by Dave Ling, originally published in Classic Rock Magazine, November 2004, on the subject of this album, Dee had been opposed to including this song on the album as it had been intended for a rock opera he was working on. Don't worry, it'll never see the light of day. He now grins. Cool riff to start off the song. Captain Howdy is a fictional character most famously associated with the 1973 film The Exorcist, where it's the name Regan McNeil uses for the entity possessing her before, spoiler alert for a 50-plus-year-old movie, it's revealed to be the demon Pazuzu. The character name is also used in Dee's movie that he wrote, produced, and starred in. We talked about a little bit for the main character, who is an online predator. According to Wikipedia, the two songs that comprise the Horror-teria segment became the basis of the 1998 film Strangeland, in which Captain Howdy was played by Dee Snider. This one is an odd choice to include on the album. Subject matter much different than contemporaries Bon Jovi, Dokken, Hanoi Rocks, Kiss, and Van Halen. About halfway through, it switches over to the second song, or the second part of the song. The Captain Howdy part is mainly told in first person from his perspective, except for the backup vocals warning to stay away from Captain Howdy. The second part is told from the third person about somehow, presumably Captain Howdy escaping legal punishment, and of course the chorus call for street justice. Pretty serious and heavy ending to side one of the album.
So weird, Lisa.
Now, of course, I already said that I love the movie Strangeland. It's nice to hear these songs in the context of the movie, knowing that the album was 14 years before the movie came out. And I said before, I think that Dee, like a lot of metal musicians like Rob Zombie at the time, were writing music, but we're also kind of creating entire universes in their work. This sounds like metal again. Weren't these guys considered a glam band? Because I'm so far hearing a metal album.
Glam metal.
Glam metal. It's not glam metal. It's metal. This segment. I don't want to call it a song because it's really like two distinct songs. Yeah,
it's two songs.
Could easily live beside like Megadeth or Metallica or Ozzy back in the day, stylistically anyway. I'm surprised I didn't seek out this album earlier or hear it played by others, particularly my brother. I think must have had this album. I'm not sure because this one was dark and creepy and right up my alley. It has a good story. We obviously know what the vision was. We know who Captain Howdy was, and he was much more vicious than these lyrics, claim that he was. We have a guitar solo here. They were actually given more space to develop something with a little personality to it. It's a little creative, not shreddy, sort of fits with the horror metal feel. But again, it's not a great guitar solo. I love the little bridge where we have the spoken word song. It has a little guitar lick behind it where he says, "Come here, my sweet, let me help you with that." there. That's better. Oh my God, it's so freaking creepy. So creepy. And then there's the third verse where he says, to your own little bed, but that's impossible. You can't sleep when you're dead. It's just
I think that's
crazy.
when I shut it off.
I don't totally understand why these two songs were put together as one track. And if they were going to do that, I would have liked a better transition between the two, because they switched between the two with a dead air space, like it was two separate tracks. So why wrap them together as one? I'm not entirely sure. The second part, we get a more rock and less metal song, a little more musical theater-ish, maybe Rocky Horror-ish even, which now I understand he was writing a rock opera. Yep, makes perfect sense. Yeah, but the story here, obviously, in the second part, is the part of the movie when the mob comes to deal with him after he's kind of relapsed into his craziness. Yeah, I get it. The first part is the crime, and the second part is the mob justice when the courts have failed. But really, did the courts fail, or did healthcare fail, or did mental health care fail? I don't know. Philosophical debate there. But yeah, this song really isn't really a rock song. It isn't really a metal song. It's a theatrical production. There's some guitar work here, a tiny solo, some riffs behind the hooky chorus, but it's mostly about the lyrics and the story. And my last question was, I wonder if he ever tried to make a horror musical before he made the horror movie. And Dave, you answered my question that he kind of had planned to. Why not? He should have, you know?
I don't know if I needed to see that.
I would have loved it.
So that ends side A. We're going to go on to our next segment. Should they have made it? That's the question here, isn't it? And this target was a band called Pharaoh from New York City, and their song was Red Flag. So, Dave, this one took me off guard. I didn't know what to expect. I'd never heard of the band. I'd never heard of the song. I went on, and wow, I was really surprised by this one. Love the image, obviously, the half black, half blonde hair. So I think we now know that I didn't invent that.
I was going to ask you if you saw them first, or if they saw you first, or what. So
I think the first time I actually probably saw that was on Decline of Western Civilization 2.
Yeah.
With the moist looking gentleman with the black hair. So this one took me off guard, and this is going to be kind of a weird little thing for me. So they reminded me more of bands like The Fix. Like when the music came on, I'm like, it's like The Fix. It actually sounded like The Fix. Mm-hmm. I think with some tweaks to the lyrics and the vocals, this band could have been packaged as a version of like that British pop invasion of the 80s that came over, you know? And I believe if they had been packaged and sold like that, this band would have been like a bigger band, because the talent was definitely there. The image was there. The music was really good. But they were trying to do 80s hair metal, and it just didn't sound like that to me. I think the singer was like working out of his element. I think this would have been a way better pop band in that British invasion genre. And I think, definitely could have made it. 70.1 is my score on this song. But again, it comes with a caveat that they would have to make those changes and come out in that other genre. As a hair metal band, not sure this is hitting the mark for me. Dave.
So they would need some skinny ties and like shiny suit jackets or some shit like that.
No, maybe a little more like, the image is fine. The image is fine. I think this image actually works with that pop fucking British feel. I think they wouldn't have to change anything but just the vocals and a little songwriting.
Well, we're going to learn why they didn't pretty soon.
Yeah, so we are keeping it local to the New York, New Jersey area with my pick. These guys are from Kenilworth, New Jersey.
Right down the street from
Ho-Hocus.
and Vintage Vinyl.
Yeah.
Vintage Vinyl.
Vintage Vinyl.
The video for Red Flag can be found on their YouTube channel, which is Sex Glam Gloom, all one word, with 69 subscribers, by the way. You can't make this stuff up.
It's great.
Yeah. According to their Reverb Nation profile, Pharaoh was best known for their outrageous stage antics, half blonde and half black hairdos, and beat-conscious rock and roll. Armed with their self-indoctrinated credo, Sex Glam Gloom, the band would dominate the tri-state area's music scene during the 1980s. I unfortunately never saw them live. But also during their career, Pharaoh would open for multiple national acts, release 2 records on their own label, showcase a video on MTV's Headbangers Ball, I'm assuming this one, and appear on over a dozen cable shows. The video is great. The music has some post-punk or even new wave elements, not just straight up glam rock. I think it's a great chorus. If I were them, I would have beefed up the background vocals in the chorus for it to hit a little harder. But it is a fun watch and listen. Legend has it they were this close to getting signed by CBS Records, but a corporate takeover killed their deal. Oh. They released a full album on Quig Records, Quig, including this song in 2009. Looks like they have not been active since 2018 or 2020, but check them out anyway. I think they should have made it. I'm giving this an 81.1.
I love the guitar sound, Dave.
Yeah, you can find them at facebook.com, Pharaoh Official, PHAROAH Official, reverbnation.com/Pharaoh, or their YouTube channel, like we said, Sex Glam Gloom.
And be number 70 on their subscriber list.
Ruin their 69 subscribers and become number 70.
The guy had that really cool guitar sound, like that's so signature, like, Flock of Seagulls, or like I said, or like The Fix, like it could have been that thing. Like it did not sound hair metal to me. I was like, it had that really stylistic, cool pop sound. I loved the guitar, especially in the beginning. It pulled me right out. I was like, wow. Lisa.
Not to be confused with Pharaoh, a rapper from the neighborhood of South Park in Houston, or Pharaoh, the beats producer from Australia, or Pharaoh, the power sludge metal band from Pennsylvania in 1997.
Or Jay Pharoah from Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
Pharaoh from San Francisco.
Yeah. Immediately, this band has a great look. I love the half and half hair. Of course, Dez's signature look.
Signature. Still half and half.
Yep,
it's half white and half black
now. The whole band looks great. Big 80s glam glitter style with so much makeup. A little sprinkling of traditional goth makeup I noticed in here, by the way. Maybe a bit of like a circus or even like freak show elements to the look. There are some bands that still have this style. I'm looking at you, Midnight Devils, friend to the show from Omaha, Nebraska. For a band that didn't make it, this video is super slick and high quality.
Yeah, there was definitely some money behind this video.
Oh, it's amazing.
Big crowd too. Big crowd,
like a storyline with the pretty girl. Yep. The production on the song is fabulous compared to the album that we're doing today. The production on this song is like 100 times better. Way better. The vocals are pop candy sweet. The backup vocals I thought were fantastic. Catchy hook under the red flag, sleazy guitar solo, great bridge. Is this a commentary on the Cold War, do you think? Was the photographer in the video a Russian journalist and he was falling in love with her? Because the first line of the song is "Don't Cry, Western World."
I like
it.
I'm
not sure.
Dude, tell me those aren't British 80s invasion lyrics.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah,
totally.
Completely. Like Cold War inspired British pop, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, these guys could have been fucking huge in that genre.
Yeah. There's a lot of styles here though. We've got glam, we've got a little bit of goth, we've got pop, we've got like the androgyny of like glitter metal maybe. Perfect mix for me. I read this band did a lot of record executive parties, including guests like Paul Schaefer, Jeff Beck, Gene Simmons, and Joey Ramone. When Sony tried to capitalize on their style and sign them, they refused to budge and just become another copy of what was on the radio at the time. I'm going to say it, this choice was the right one in my eyes because it would have destroyed like who they were. I'm also going to say that while I love this style, I don't think this style is for everyone. And I also love that their record label is Lipstick East. I love that name. They played with some big bands like Kix, Steve Stevens, Tease, and many more. There was an interview with called Dakira, who is the lead singer from 2010, about their history. It's on rockeyes.com. saying that they recorded their stuff on a 4-track, and it was really hard to do. And they were lamenting the extremely like money hungry and power hungry attitudes of record executives at the time, which was basically what was happening to this style of music, as they were trying to squeeze every penny out of a dying genre. The quote is, labels were saying you look like Motley Crue, and if you wrote a song like Motley Crue, we'll sign you. They wanted to put us in a certain category and make us a certain way to package us. We could have kept going because we were in that box. We were doing our own thing. Basically, we wouldn't compromise, and we believed in what we did, and we played it that way. I see a mix of like Culture Club, Duran Duran, post-punk, pop, synth. I listened to another of their songs called Fight as One, which is freaking amazing, by the way. It is pure glitter pop synth. Like completely. It's totally post-punk. It's even different from this song, but it's so good. My only thought is that for On Fight is One, the melody of the hook is exactly the same as the melody of the hook in this song, but the rest of the song is completely different. So they did do a benefit show in 2005 for Nelson Pop, who is the drummer in the band. For his wife passed, so they did play as recently as 2005. In 2015, they released a B-side album, kind of, I don't want to call it an EP, but it wasn't like as long as a full album. No social media activity from the band since 2018. I love this song. I definitely think they should have made it, but I also understand why they didn't, because not everybody likes this style of music. So on the Violent Vinyl, should they have made it chart? Pharaoh with their song Red Flag comes in at 78.23, which puts them at number 4, just below Rock City Angels, Teenage Lipstick Boys, and just above Swingin' Thing, All That Glitters.
Interesting placement. I
think that's about right.
Yeah, I think I might like this band better than both of those bands, but I'm not sure. It's good though. It's all in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, then inside A and that, and now we're going to flip the show over onto the B side. So slap it on the ass and let's go over there. And on the B side, you're going to find track 5. I want rock. That was terrible. It's like Paul Stanley doing fucking Twisted Sister. So we get another iconic Twisted Sister song here. One we've all heard more times than we could probably count. This one, perfect, simple little arrangement. It builds from the verse perfectly into this chorus. It's really great. Super anthem. This is, if you're looking to get a number 1 fucking hit in the summer on the radio, this is how you write it. Again, is this fucking LA Guns? Is this? No. Is this that? No. Nothing like that, but it's fine for what it is. I think the world has unanimously said it's a good song. Surprisingly, we get a serviceable solo here from JJ French. It fits the song. It's not great. It's not bad. It doesn't pull me out of the song. I'm not like, oh, that was a piece of shit. It's fine. I'm thinking that JJ French probably should have had more solo duty on this album, as it is the lesser of two evils, but he still sucks. And yeah, so there it is. Dave.
This was the second single from the album. It reached number 68 in the United States. Like the earlier We're Not Gonna Take It, the video features actor Mark Metcalf, best known as the abusive ROTC leader Niedermeyer from the movie National Lampoon's Animal House. In this video, he plays a teacher with a similar personality who harasses a student for drawing the Twisted Sister logo on one of his textbooks. Great acting performance, by the way. This guy looks like he's going to burst a blood vessel. Mr. Sister.
And the kid is so good, too.
Now, you said this is a new character. I thought we were just watching the same dad at his job. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's specified that it's the same guy or
that it matters.
I like Lisa's theory. I like Lisa's theory.
So yeah, we get similar antics to the other video. School kids turn into the band and the mean guy gets comically abused. In 2009, I Wanna Rock was named the 17th greatest hard rock song by VH1. Lyrics are not super complicated here. Do you think they want to rock? Yes. According to director Marty Callner, the video was shot at Montebello High School in Los Angeles. The Animal House theme continues to the end when we see the principal is played by Mr. Metcalf's co-star from Animal House, Stephen Furst, who then, as a final indignity, spritzes the guy with a seltzer bottle. Good times.
Can't be.
Yeah.
My fucking description of JJ French's guitar solo was like the biggest backhanded compliment ever. I'm like, he's actually pretty good, even though he sucks. Sorry, JJ. Lisa.
Well, good way to start the second side of the album with a banger. Not sure why this song is so much louder and thicker in the production. I actually, it blasted through my headphones. I actually had to like turn down, even though like you shouldn't have to adjust between songs.
Yeah, they when they master an album, that's supposed to make all the songs a pretty similar level.
Yeah,
but yeah, they probably did like a special mix for this to make it pop on the radio, and
it is brilliantly crystal clear and balanced compared to some of the other muddy stuff.
Dave, it almost feels like they recorded the 3 big hits like in a different studio, right?
Exactly.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I think it said somewhere that they recorded in a couple different studios for this album.
Makes sense.
So we get the same anthem style song as We're Not Gonna Take It. How they were able to hit 2 such iconic and simple hooks on the same album is like completely mind-blowing. Everyone can sing to it, everyone can relate to it, everyone can pump their fist to it. Crazy that you have these kind of iconic songs together. This song creeps closer to the glam format, but it's still to me not like true glam. It's also not metal like some of the other non-hits on the album. It's almost like there's 2 different bands on this album, really. The lyrics are all about the hook. The fact that the verses are almost hidden and maybe even a little bit unintelligible when he sings. So he has this run where it's like, but all I got to say to you is time and time again, I say, no. Right. But he says it so fast, like you can't understand what he's saying. And it doesn't matter. You just want to sing the no part, right? Like who cares what the verse says? We have a nice pre-chorus that breaks up the song with a good melody and it's well delivered. But does anyone even notice it? Like nobody remembers it, right? So I've heard this song probably a billion times and I've never paid attention to the guitar solo, but here we are doing it for the podcast. So now I'm listening. It's okay. It's a little wobbly. Maybe too many effects. And you said
wah wah pedal.
Oh, and look, I said, is it wah wah pedal? It is. It's too wobbly for me.
Yeah.
I like the back and forth hook at the end with the alternating gang vocals where he says, I want to rock, 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 rock. Yeah, back and forth. Love that. That's fantastic. And of course, we have the super campy video with the high school teacher who I'm saying it's the dad just at his job. We get the band appearing again, looking all scary in this like suburban middle class white background school, right? I'm wondering if they shot this the same day as the other video, because everything about the video, the makeup, the costumes, the look, everything is exactly the same. And I know that they wore pretty much the same costumes all the time, but even the makeup lines look the same. It's almost like they did them together.
I think they just had their
had
their routine down.
Maybe, yeah.
That they were just so used to doing that, playing a billion shows everywhere that they could put that stuff on in 15 minutes and look basically the same every time.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fair.
I don't think logistically you could have done that much filming in one day. But
they look like
I'm not a movie maker, so
they look like superhero costumes, and like I'm the red guy and I'm the yellow guy. It's almost like Power Rangers. Yeah, right.
I think it was more like the Spice Girls.
Yeah. So we get, the band riling up the students against the teachers and the teachers trying to stop it. And it's so much fun. And when you're as young as I was when I saw this video, it was like, why can't that happen at my school? It was, kids giving the middle finger to authority. It was fantastic. I loved it. So
if you went to Malden High, you would have had Gary Sharon as your gym teacher, which must have been awesome. Oh, and listen, Gary Sharon, great singer, great frontman, just not for my band. That's all. That's all I'm saying. For somebody else's band, amazing. Yes, incredible. You know, I will say one thing about this album. They did arrange the songs. They sprinkled in the hits properly. They didn't
They
front load
did.
this album, so it
Mhm.
was not a grind to listen to.
Yeah.
Track number 6, The Price. So this was the hidden gem for me on the album. I had forgotten this song completely, and wow, I really, really love this song. Dee Snider, really nice vocals, great lyrics on this track. We get these great verses that transition directly into this killer chorus. Unfortunately, we get more Eddie Fingers Ojeda on this lead guitar. He is so unbelievably shaky, stiff, and simple on this track that it kills this track. This track had so much heart. It had so much emotion. It really moves you. The lyrics, the way Dee is singing it, the melodies, this transition from this verse into this chorus. It's really all hitting the marks perfectly. It's money. And then you really need a great guitar solo to bring this thing home. And it just is, it's shit. It's shit. And it breaks the fucking spell that I was under. And I was like, fuck you, Eddie, for doing that to this song. I mean, yeah, Dave.
According to Wikipedia, this was the third single released from the album in December 1984. I definitely do not remember it being out on the radio or MTV. With a check on Discogs.com, looks like, yes, indeed, it was a single throughout most of the world in 1984 and 85. Wikipedia also says The Price failed to reach the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, stalling at number 8 on the bubbling under the Hot 100 chart in January 85. Wikipedia also says this about the video for the song. The song's music video was directed by Marty Callner, who also directed their previous 2 videos. As The Price was a heartfelt ballad, Callner and Snider decided not to continue the slapstick comedy theme of the previous videos. That would have been a mistake. And they also agreed that there should be less emphasis on the band's makeup and costumes. The resulting video was a performance-based one, with footage alternating between the band performing in casual clothes and no makeup at a sound check, and in full costume and makeup during a concert. It was shot in early 1985 at the Rochester Community War Memorial in Rochester, New York, when the band had a couple days off during their Iron Maiden tour. The video achieved medium rotation on MTV. So I watched the video. There's still a little slapstick if you count the drummer's comically oversized novelty drumsticks. Oof. At the time they were out, I did not get the image change from the costumes to their street look. I understand, maybe they wanted to catch some extra metal cred and didn't want everybody thinking they were, a drag queen novelty act. But it seemed odd to me at the time that they didn't pick one look or the other. So felt sort of like, oh, Kiss took off their makeup. But this is the same album, so I'm not sure if it was, good or bad from a marketing standpoint, having the 2 different looks, in the same era of the band. A good song. It's got a classic sound. Those tom drums right before the vocal comes in sound monstrous. I think AJ Pirro doesn't get enough credit for his groove and unique drum sound. Very heavy. According to Wikipedia, Snider wrote The Price while Twisted Sister were recording their second studio album in England during early 1983. The song was inspired by Snider's feelings at the time, having been in England for 4 months without being able to see his wife and son, who were back in the USA. He then went and wrote the song. Dee said, the whole song just poured out of me.
Yeah, you can feel it. It really had a lot of emotion.
Heartfelt.
I immediately regret saying "fuck you." That was too much. I immediately feel bad for it. It's not like Eddie cut me off in traffic where that would be completely appropriate. You know what I mean? So I was just a little disappointed we didn't get a better solo. Sorry, Eddie. Lisa, go ahead.
Wow, I don't agree with you guys at all about this song.
What?
This song rules.
This song
no.
rules. No, this song rules. You need to listen to it again.
Okay, this is their attempt, I guess, at a power ballad. I did mention Dokken earlier. I get a Dokken feeling a little bit from this song.
Sure.
Though when the song actually like comes through after kind of the intro and the music thickens, it changes quite a bit. Why was the beginning recorded in a submarine? And then when the song opens up, it was like my ears popped and I could like hear the song. Like, I don't understand that. But that's, you know, that's a production issue. That's not a song issue.
Fuck you, Tom Mormon.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Tom Mormon.
Yeah. Why do they repeat the name of the song in the verse and the chorus? It completely wipes out the idea of a hook for me. There's no hook in this song. I can't follow where the chorus is, where the verse is, and not in an artistic way, in just a disorganized way. The guitar solo is so muted, kind of like that beginning piece was. It's like he's playing in a closet and you're listening from down the hallway.
Yep.
And I don't know, like, I can't even tell if the guitar solo is good or bad. It is so muted. I'm listening to it from so far away. I have no idea. Lyrics are kind of the highlight for me here. They're okay, a little bit cheesy at some time, but at least they tell a nice story. You approach the point where your dreams come true, and you look back and you wonder if it was worth the price you paid to get there. I think a lot of people have thought that, having to stab people in the back to get to the top and finally feel some regret. But hey, it seems like today most people don't feel that regret or even look back. So at least, you know, this song is about that. Had they kept that clear production all the way throughout the song that you get for just a second here, it might have been much better for me. I don't like the muted pieces. This time was ripe for power ballads, but this one for me completely missed the mark. It wasn't radio formulaic. It wasn't romantic. It didn't have a hook. I feel like as a metal band, because they weren't a glam band to me, had they done a ballad more along the lines of like Fade to Black from Metallica, it would have fit much better with the album and probably would have been stylistically better to me. They were straddling worlds. They were straddling, you know, making a glam power ballad with being metal, and I don't know. And the video on this kind of gives me the same feel. Like you've got the glam look, you know, with the costumes, you've got the street look. And before this album, you had what I would call more the androgynous glitter look. Like they couldn't, and I'm not saying they needed to pick a look, but I think fans at the time were looking for at least some kind of continuity. Like, you know, they didn't have that. Like when Kiss took off their makeup,
consistency.
Yeah, it was a moment where they had makeup and they made a decision and they took off the makeup. But in this case, and I don't have a problem with there being a lot of looks, but it's almost like they were presenting 3 different bands to people and there was no continuity at all.
Right. That's kind of what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's fine if you say, oh, for this album, we're taking off the makeup
Sure.
and we're going to look like bikers.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, and then 2 albums later, oh, we're going to, you know, look like space aliens or some shit like that. But, you know, like keep it consistent. That's what I was talking about, like with the marketing that, you know, I don't know if that's the best idea.
Right.
To, okay, I look like this and now I look like this. And, you know, I don't know.
But even
it confused me when I was a kid because I didn't know like what their deal was.
Yeah. But even like when you play, you have a few different looks for yourself as well. You have a very, very glam look. You have a punk look. You have a regular rock guy look. You have a toned down look. And you switch around quite a bit, right?
Dave always looks like metal guy dressed in black with scarves. You look pretty consistent if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's really that different.
I mean,
dude, this band didn't have the musical talent to put out a song like Fade to Black. Like, imagine JJ French and Eddie trying to play those guitar tracks on Fade to Black. Give me a break.
Fade to Black was a classic, to be fair.
Yeah. Those guys are players, man. Fucking James Hetfield and fucking Kirk Hammett can fucking get it done.
Yep.
Is that it? That's what you got?
That's all. Yep.
All right.
Next.
I couldn't disagree with you anymore, by the way.
I know.
Track number 7, Don't Let Me Down. So right away, I hated these guitar sounds. This was transistor caca. It was like they tapped into like a fucking, like a Rockman or something. They're like, this is the sound. Like they hardwired into like a Rockman, like fucking, oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. As for the song, non-factor on the album. Doesn't even exist. Doesn't even matter. It reminded me of Kiss's Love Gun if it was like drunk and on Quaaludes.
Oh,
Like it
wow.
literally, it did. It kind of sounded like Love Gun a little bit, only fucking terrible. This song sucks, and there was absolutely no winner in this simple Jack guitar duel. It was just fucking dumb. Dave.
Well, according to the loudersound.com article I referenced before, this song was producer Tom Werman's choice to be the single.
Oh my God.
Ugh.
Yup, right? Between the drums and the harmony guitar, it sounds very Iron Maiden-y. Yes, that's a word. The harmony guitar also weaves in between the lines of the chorus. I think it's an okay song, but not 100% representative of Twisted Sister, especially produced this way. Hearing some great high notes from D. Lyrics seem a little flat in this one, however. Another double guitar lead from both Jay and Eddie. The licks are fine, but they are no Yngwie J. Malmsteen. For sure.
Dude, I'm starting to think Tom Warman secretly hated Twisted Sister. He was like trolling them. He's trolling them, right? He's like, guys, you know what would be awesome? If you two did a fucking guitar duel. Like if you guys just like really took the top off it, just like went for it. They're doing it. And he's like, oh my God, these fucking idiots.
Really go at it, boys.
Yeah, go at it, boys. Take the gloves off. Lisa.
Well, there is, I'm sorry, there is a controversy when I was looking into this album that when they were making this album, from the producer's standpoint, he brought in some songs by the band Saxon from England, I'm assuming. Sort of, I'm assuming from his perspective to sort of give them, you know, an idea of something that's hip or like a sound maybe to shoot for. But from the band's perspective, they basically took it as they're not big in the, you know, Saxon is not big in the United States, and that the producer wanted them to cover these songs instead of the songs they wrote and try to pass them off. And so that sort of created a big rift and controversy, you know, whether it was a misunderstanding or whether the producer was just trying to like pull a fast one and get them to record some other band songs instead of their own songs. So
yeah, as far as that image thing, I think they thought they were like Kiss, like it was going to shock the world. They did it. Just fucking nobody cared. Like, whatever, dude. Fucking cares. Yeah, great. You're wearing your fucking street clothes now. Yeah, and Lisa.
So it looks like we're back to metal format again. It's interesting when the vocals come in, he doesn't sound exactly like himself, at least from what I've heard so far on the album. He sounds a little bit like Tom Kiefer for a split second. I don't totally get what this song is about. Something like he's talking to a girl and he wants her to be there for him, but he doesn't want to do shit for her. But yeah, that sounds about how it was back in the 80s. Flesh and blood make a man. If that disappoints you, well, what can I say? I don't want you to hurt. I just want to play. Song has a decent hook that you can sing along to pretty quickly. Guitar solo is subdued. It switches right to left, which I'm assuming is when they're switching between guitar players. They're calling it a
Battles
duel.
on.
Yeah. But still, the whole thing is like it's underneath a layer of mud. Like I can barely hear it. Where is the crisp sound from I Wanna Rock? Where did that go to? Because it's not here.
The studio musicians, they couldn't afford them.
Yeah. I feel like even if there were some good riffs, guitar riffs on this album, it's so muddy, we wouldn't hear them anyway. I wonder if a better production on this would have, you know, had some, given this album some bigger metal moments. This song is pretty forgettable.
I don't know. I think Tom Warman was doing them a favor by muddying it up. I think he did it on purpose. He's like, if we can just kind of tuck this in a little bit, maybe it won't be so obvious. No.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. I don't want to know. Track number 8, The Beast. This is another stylistic song, right? I hate when Dee Snider is doing this. It just doesn't sound good to me. It doesn't taste good to me. I don't like this. It's just, the tempo on this song, it fucking drags through the mud. And these vocals, they're just weird. The lyrics, they are not for me. I do not like this song. And I'm not even going to say this. Fuck it. I was going to say the solo's not terrible, but it's just another lazy snoozer from the great Eddie Fingers Ojeda. But I'm not going to say that because it makes it sound like I'm making excuses for him. Solo sucked, Dave.
Well, here's an evil sounding riff. The lower octave double in verse 2 is nice. The song sounds like it was written about some movie monster like, Godzilla or Freddy Krueger. I thought it was kick-ass metal.
Don't know. Lisa, did you get the kick-ass metal vibe from this
Well,
one?
I've got that it has a nice metal opening, so I guess there's that. I
Okay.
think I've heard this song before, though. I feel like they're copying someone. Not sure who it is. Feels a little bit like Iron Maiden or Metallica, Motorhead or Dio, something. I can't put my finger on who it is, but I feel like it's a copy. The song sounds very dark and almost like satanic metal, talking about snakes and predators and the beast, but ultimately it looks like it's a play on words. He says it's the nature of the beast, and it isn't Satan. It's about how it's the nature of a man to be a predator. It's kind of like a twist on the words. So, good for him.
Ooh.
I'm all for the satanic blasphemy if you can hide it in a song. That's great. Song is pretty monotonous in its delivery. We've got some actually good guitar licks, surprisingly, on this one. They had two guitarists, and you don't see the thickness that you see in Rat or Skid Row or some of the other dual guitar bands. So, the solo fits, but it's meh. What is that tone? It's like shaky and hesitant, and it has been on every song. Wobbly, I think, is the word.
Lisa, I have to call you into the office here. Sit down in front of my desk. You're being written up for saying Motorhead and the Beast in the same section. That is not going to fly. It is nothing like Motorhead.
Just stylistically. I don't mean...
No.
Yeah.
Now you're being written up again. You're breaking the rule. You just warned. Okay. Final song on the album. I was actually grateful that there are only 9 right about now. I was like, oh, that was an easy listen.
And short.
It was
like
an easy listen.
songs.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a grind. This wasn't, as much as I didn't really love this album, it was not a grind to listen to. I got right through it.
Yeah.
Track number 9, SMF. I had no idea what this meant until Dave told me. I didn't care. Didn't care to even look into it. I just went on SMF, whatever. The production on the opening hi-hat was unforgivably bad. I don't even know what this was. This is like that. I can't even explain it. Just go listen to it. How this got onto a real studio album, I don't know. I didn't hear anything on this track that I ever want to hear again, especially lines like, "You're the milk without the cream." What the fuck does that even mean? It's not clever. I don't. Dave, you're the milk without the cream. Thoughts?
The cream is the good part, and so you're boring and bland, I guess.
But that
and not that interesting.
How about fucking you're the coffee, not the cream? Like cream rises.
Bitter.
No, cream rises. Cream rises. The good stuff rises to the top. You'd be the coffee. The cream and fucking milk doesn't make any sense. I fucking hate it. The solo was a sloppy attempt at ripping at best. I mean, oh my God, this guy was fucking falling all over himself. It was a disaster. It fell directly on its face, right where they started at the beginning of the album. And overall, the production was absolute crap on this song. I hated it, Dave.
SMF is, of course, an acronym for Sick Motherfucker, which Snyder wrote as a tribute to the loyalty of their fans. Fun fact, one time I wrote a song and was so proud that the music had popped right into my head for the lyrics I had in mind. We know where we're going with this.
Sure.
Turned out I had basically written new words to this song, accidentally totally ripped this one off. My words are still waiting for me to write different music, and this is like 20 years later. The intro sounds very British heavy metal influenced, a la Motorhead.
Are you gonna fire him too?
Dave, step into my office.
It sounds like Motorhead.
You're getting 2 because she was already warned and you heard it.
Yes. When the song kicks in, it's awesome. Great groove. Lyrics are, Outcast Teenage Rebellion. D is singing in a little higher register than he normally does. And for the chorus, I get a little AC/DC vibe. I like it. Reportedly, JJ is on lead guitar on this one. He's got some classic rock licks. This song raises 2 fists in the air. Fuck yeah.
Wow.
Dave, everybody's guilty of accidentally doing what you did. So I did it like in my adult, like recently by accident. So I ripped off an LA Gun song subconsciously, the riff, the opening riff. And I didn't even realize it. David, I think, called me out on it. I was like, I didn't even know what he was saying. I went back and listened to them both. And I'm like, ruh-roh. I stole that riff big time. If you guys want to hear it, type in White Knuckle Faith by Dez on YouTube, and you can go over and listen to it and leave a comment. What LA Gun song did I rip off? And it's just one guitar riff. It's not like I ripped the whole fucking song off or any melodies or anything, but I definitely subliminally stole this riff too blatantly. It's gross. Wasn't gross enough for me to take it off my fucking YouTube channel though. Lisa, go ahead.
So in 1985, Dee Snider revealed during his meeting in front of the PMRC and Congress that SMF stood for Sick Motherfucking Fans of Twisted Sister. Nice rock opening. Guitars feel a little bit thicker here for me. The tone of his voice I like a lot. When he went up an octave, I feel like if he could have done more of that, I probably would have liked his singing a lot better. This song feels like a demo. Lyrics are back to the rhyming again, and that's a little overdone on this album. I do like the gang vocal chorus, and I even like the guitar solo on this one. It feels a little sleazy, almost like it was recorded live, and the sound is more open here. The third verse has a nice call out to the fans. We're the ones that live it. We're all really free. And if they think that we're sick, then sick is what we'll be. Like that. I like the dirty, sleazy feeling to this song. But when this song ended, I was listening on Spotify. I went into Lay It Down by Rat, and the drastic difference in production and just how much clearer and brighter the song was such an incredible contrast. They were done dirty by this production. So.
Lisa, it's so funny you said that, because when it finished for me, the last thing I had been listening to was Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. And it was like you said, I was like godsmacked by the production jump. Yep. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, great. I thought I was just stomping all over you again. You still have more to say. Oh,
all done.
Great. Okay, so that's it. We have broken down Twisted Sister. Stay hungry for you. I hope that you guys enjoyed the conversation. Enjoyed the discussion. And now we're going to go over and cut some songs and cut some dudes. So my favorite song on the album was definitely The Price. It's Twisted Sister's best song. I really love it. It's an unsung hero by this band, in my opinion. Song I would cut would obviously be Horateria. Just the fucking name alone is so stupid. Dave, go ahead.
Favorite track, I'm going with Burn in Hell. This should have been single number 4 off the album after it was in Pee-wee's movie. I would cut, the album is only 37 minutes total. They can't afford to cut anything. No. But I guess Don't Let Me Down. It's a pretty good song, but the vibe on that one seems a little out of place.
Burn in Hell is my second favorite Twisted Sister song.
Yeah.
Close second. Lisa.
So my favorite is We're Not Gonna Take It, with an honorable mention to Burn in Hell. I like that one too. I'm removing The Price.
Jeez, step into my office again and shut the door this time. Okay, let's replace a member. I would remove Eddie Ojeda because he is fucking terrible. And I would replace him with one Carlos Cavazo, because I think that he's just the level of lead guitar player for this band. And I think that he had the look for this band. I think you spray paint like a square on his cheek and he's good to go. Dave, what do you got?
Well, no disrespect to these guys. They are fine players.
No, they're not.
But both, I'm being diplomatic,
okay.
But both guitarists seem slightly limited, I guess you could say. And it's not a situation like Rat where there's one shreddier guy and one bluesier guy. They seem pretty similar in skill. I will have to move JJ over to management only. He handled a lot of their management duties, like we said, in addition to performing. And in his place, I will bring in Chris Holmes of Wasp.
Sure.
Not sure it would work out personality-wise, but I think his guitar would sound pretty good with Twisted Sister.
Dave, that is a fucking great pick. I'll tell you why. Because he's a big, burly, hairy-chested, barrel-chested man that would look perfect next to Dee Snider wearing like a fucking teddy. It's perfect. It's a fucking perfect choice. I love that. Lisa.
Thanks.
I'm removing Eddie Fingers Ojeda because the fingers were not so great.
Finger looking good.
I'm putting in Ace Frehley.
Nice.
Yeah, great.
Ace Frehley.
I think his experience being in Kiss, a huge marketing packaged band with costumes, and also needing to play with Paul Stanley and work together, with Paul playing rhythm, they worked together really well and they balanced it out. And I think that he could provide real leads and lead a less talent. I don't want to say less talented, but a lesser guitarist. He could lead them better.
I agree. And I want you guys to all know that I really showed a lot of restraint not going right back to Paul Stanley there because I really wanted to. But I enjoy doing it. Okay, great. Yeah, great. Everybody, nice job today. I think we recovered from Slave to the Grind magnificently. This was a fucking excellent show, and we even were able to shoehorn a little of VVR After Dark in there. So, really good stuff today.
Nice.
Let's do some final thoughts. We'll score it. We'll move on with our lives. So this was better than I thought it would be, but honestly, I thought it would suck. Okay, so that's where we're starting. Suck. It's better than I thought it would be. It had some solid tracks on it for sure. But unfortunately, even the solid tracks were suffering from a lack of talent in this band, a lack of musical ability, especially in the guitar department and also in the uninspired production of the album. I mean, maybe Tom Warman just was not down for this. It's like we all work jobs. There's some jobs where you get the assignment for the day. You're just like, I don't want to fucking do this. And you give it a half-ass fucking attempt and you move on with your day. Yeah, and you phone it and you move on. And that's what I'm getting here because I've heard Tom Warman's work and it's usually a lot better than this. So between that and the overall weak production, overly simple, everything on the album musically, it doesn't have any depth or dimension. Come on, guys. Musically, there's no depth or dimension on this. They just don't pull off anything. This is a garage band. It's pushing 54.9 watts, in my opinion. And there's no way in hell I am ever listening to this album again. Dave.
I love the album. It's classic. Not 100% sure about the production. Tom Mormon stuff is weird sometimes.
It is.
But for the time period, it was fine. Good songs, great image, some cheese, and some heavy rockers. I'll have to check out that re-recorded version that the band made and see how it stacks up. But this one, I'm giving it a 74.4.
All right, Lisa.
This band was a little bit before my time.
And I would re-listen.
Oh, you would? I know you would, because you still listen to it.
Lisa, you're the linchpin.
Yeah, this band was before my time. They didn't do much during my time as a teenager. They were kind of like the fathers of campy music anthems and fighting against old people. Funny now, we are the old people today, and we are way cooler than our parents' generation, and we are way cooler than the younger generation, so I don't know how that's going to work out. The music isn't at all what I like. I think the identity crisis the band may have been having, being dragged into this kind of glam explosion and kind of video world, when they were really a metal band, made this album a little unbalanced. It was a mix of forced radio formulaic music like the ballad with campy anthems, when I think their real style was metal. Whereas a band like Whitesnake made this transition seamlessly, although to be fair, David Coverdale made the transition easily because he fired everyone and created a new band. But this band was kind of 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I can't say I completely enjoyed this album. I will say that the poor production quality, the drastically different production quality, even between the songs, really hurt it. And I think was probably the biggest problem for me. I think a better producer to give it a more modern mid-80s sound that the other bands of the time were having would have changed this a lot for me. I'm glad it was pretty short. I don't think that adding more songs that were similar would have made any difference to my opinion. And I was spared because it was short, I was spared the feeling of, oh God, not another one. Please make it stop. I just, I got through it. It was fine. It was okay because it was so short. But my mind was wandering, and I had to re-listen a couple times as the songs were a little bit forgettable. I'm never going to listen to this all the way through again. I'll definitely listen to the, 2 campy albums, and I'll definitely remember Dee Snider so fondly for what he did for music and for what he did for me as a smart girl back in the day. Total score of 63.9.
All right. That was a little high. Add it up and tell us where it lands on the Violent Vinyl chart.
Sure. On the Violent Vinyl album chart, Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry from 1984 comes in at number 21 with a total score of 64.40, which puts them just below Kicks, Below My Fuse, and just above ZZ Top's Eliminator.
I don't know. I'd rather listen to Eliminator. Okay, so that's it. Since I have the next pick, let me tell you what our homework will be for the next 2 weeks. The pick is Junkyard's second studio album,
Nice.
6s, 7s, and 9s. I chose this as a tribute to the late, great David Roach, one of my favorite singer-songwriters of all time. And I say that honestly. I already listened to the album again yesterday. I still love this album. I can listen to it anytime along with the first album. This is timeless music. It kicks ass. It's not dated. It's not gay. It's fucking incredible. And for the Should They Have Made It segment, I chose The Love Tribe from New York City. And the song is Stuck in the Middle. Unfortunately, the audio and video is from a live performance in New York City, but it is shot from a couple of different camera angles. So you get the vibe of the band. The video is just like maybe a half a second off with the audio. It's old. It's obviously off like a VHS tape or something, but you can hear it fine. And like I said, there's a bunch of different camera angles. And I chose this band for a couple of reasons. One, I love them. Two of the members are actually members of the Glamour Punks after the Glamour Punks. So they had moved to New York. I mean, I don't know the story exactly, but I'm assuming they had moved from California after the Glamour Punks to New York and started playing in Love Tribe. So it was Strange and Schizo, the 2 guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
And they really had come into their own at this time. They both were playing really, really good. They both looked great. And they had brought with them back from California the original bass player of the Glamour Punks, Stacy Chemical. He's in a lot of the early pictures and early flyers. He's big blonde hair. And I had met Stacy, this guy John, and this guy Sable at the Limelight while I was seeing the Chili Peppers because I was living in Greenwich Village at the time. And I joined their band called Sable Sex. So it was me, Stacy Chemical, John, and Sable. And we were the best looking band in New York City. This band looked fucking if we could have got signed just off of our look. But yeah, obviously it didn't go anywhere. So there you go. There you go. Go check that out. Lisa will put a link to that video on the Facebook page. Yes?
Sure. Yep.
Okay. On our sister podcast, we will be reviewing Deep Rising with original flavor Tony. So there you go. Until next time, take those albums out of the sleeve and let the music breathe. See you next time.